Hello, hello, hello. I believe we are online. Let us get straight to this and get back into F1 Manager. I think I've set everything up correctly. Did a bit of a rush here as I've been out all day. Hence why you're getting a stream instead of a video today, because I just haven't had time to sit down and edit it. Apologies, but I think the stream will be acceptable, I'm hoping. Hello, hippity hoppity. See, you are already hyped. 10 minutes before everyone else. Appreciate that. Hello, Zach. It's going good. Just been busy today, which was very unplanned. But we are getting back into Pit Lane Challenge. Yesterday was a lot of fun. Hopefully today will be more of the same. Let's see how this actually ends up going. But yeah, hopefully everything's working. I would assume it is. I'm not seeing any complaints. So we're just going to jump straight into this. No life pitting you into more boring lanes. Doing well myself today, been laying around. Morning, my mom was still sleeping. Well, to be fair, I am streaming a lot later than usual, so yes, the Australians get a little bit of a look here before you run to school or work, depending on how you look at it. Or would it be Americans? I don't actually know. Honestly, that sounds like a good idea, Zach. Just let your mother sleep before you get in trouble. But yeah, we are just going to get straight into this, and my biggest concern is going to be failed parts because, well, we are still behind on them. We do have a lot of time, though, before we go to Montreal. I think we're still fine. We are making a suspension. We'll actually have that one sorted out relatively easily. But financially, it's not looking super amazing here. We are going to be getting, I believe, 1.6 million in just a couple of days. So with that in mind and the fact that we should be getting very closer to the next sponsor segment, we're just gonna start a couple of designs there. American, yeah, that makes more sense. That does make more sense than Australian, although I think kind of similar-ish. Early morning for... not even close, it's just me being silly. But yeah, early morning for Americans. Glad to hear you're still dropping by. But yeah, with that said, we are going to start making some of the final designs there because I have a little bit of money now. And I think this is a gamble that I want to do. We do need to get a little bit better tire preservation because it's very lacking as a kick. And hopefully we can actually correct that with a little bit of designing here. So just like that, we're back to being poor. But we've already made the parts that matter, so it's not really a big problem. We also have the factory upgrade now, so we can actually do 3 projects at a time. That's going to be a lot easier. Hello, David. How you doing? 1 p.m. Yeah, that makes a little bit more sense then. Mom is relaxing today. To be fair, it is Sunday, so it's well deserved. Yes, it is a Sunday. I had to think there for a second. I hope. I'm getting confused here. It's been a long day. But yeah, we're going to put on the new suspension. And with that, we're actually already just ready to jump into Canada. We had a really, really good result in Mexico, Monaco. Getting Americanized over here. Glad to hear you're doing good, David. I'm doing good as well. Control is focused on low and medium speed. Yeah, basically. We can actually check the circuits here. Montreal, if you will. Overview. High tractive braciness. I don't know if I really agree with that. But in terms of the car attributes here, medium and high speed is what's recommended. You do need some top speed too if you look at the layout here. A lot of top speed here, a lot of top speed here. But yeah, apart from that, it's going to be a lot of high and medium speed corners. Not any... Well, I'm looking at the wrong track. For starters, this that should probably connect the dots a little bit earlier. But yeah, high speed, and low and medium. Yeah, you are correct. It's just me being absolutely silly and not noticing that I clicked the wrong track. Kind of gives you an idea of just how tiring today have been. But yeah, that makes more sense. I felt like something was wrong there. I couldn't find the hairpin. Couldn't find this section. That's embarrassing, but we'll take that. That's a bit of a memory leak there. in reality. Yeah, we're very well suited to low speed. I believe if we compare ourselves to Red Bull, we're ahead of them. I think McLaren is probably the best low speed team. Yeah, they actually have a huge advantage over both us and Red Bull. So, yeah, no wonder McLaren is beating Red Bull at the moment if we compare the cars. So, Red Bull versus McLaren. McLaren has gone full cornering. They have a 7-kilogram car. That probably explains a little bit about why Red Bull is struggling, to be fair. So, not only did we absolutely destroy them mentality-wise, but we also had the extra help there, causing them a little bit more pain. I think this is decent enough for the practice. We're just going to focus a little bit on getting the air chance down, a little bit on getting piss-up times down, and honestly, it's not a huge deal either way for me, so we're just going to keep it as is. And unfortunately, our boys have lost a little bit of their confidence. That enthusiastic mentality sure didn't last long. I could invest all my money here upgrading my memorabilia room, and honestly, I think I will. It's just that extra mentality boost is actually kind of huge, and as I mentioned it, I think we'll get money from results. That's going to be one of them. We should also be getting some money here from, well, from the sponsorship relatively soon, so I don't think it's going to be a huge deal. 7 kilogram? Damn, that's the guy's been training for the London Marathon times. Yeah, to be fair, I think 7 kilograms is one of the lowest vehicles that I've seen in this game, unmodded at least. Hello guys, how you doing? Most of my operation buildings are level everything, but the weather center and boardroom. Yeah, that's fair. That's kind of what I do too. Okay, so we have Montreal today, so honestly, we don't need to rush this rairing. It's actually not going to give us anything massive in terms of gains. We need to do another rairing design. So I actually do need to have a good result here, and just going to take a look at the calendar. We're getting another sponsor plan just before we go into Barcelona. So if I remember correctly, we get around 7 or 8 million here. And that should keep us afloat for a long time. So I think we're still looking pretty decent at the moment.
Formula One has arrived.
Some babies are born heavier than the McLaren. That's a fun fact that I did not expect. Oh, we're actually getting heavy rain too. That's gonna make things a little bit spicy here. We are getting heavy rain on Sunday. That is going to make things a little bit interesting. Particularly since we start at the back of the grid and we need to do, you know, overtaking in the heavy rain. Problem is, we're starting at the back of the grid. We suck at overtaking in the rain, so heavy rain is actually extremely detrimental to us. I don't think it's going to help, but I would be happy to be proven wrong. Okay, we'll do a setup like this. We'll do a little tweak to left or right to figure that one out. We're going to change the setup up anyways before we go into the race weekend. Or rather, the race itself. Keep on calling it a race weekend. I keep on disrespecting the quali. Apologies for that. Let's see. I'm going to try this, and then again, we can just tweak it if we need to after quali session. So with that said, I think we are just going to do one more race with the CRS. Until it breaks, we're going to keep on using it. We're probably going to regret that if we have a good result and it breaks. But financially, it makes sense to keep on using it until it explodes. It is the most financially sound option available to us. I'm just going to do what we usually do for this series, or the save. Just take manual control, make sure that we qualify dead last, and then we will be happy. Fun fact, Sauber during this off-season did an interesting collab with Dose of Society, regular staff about their inner secrets from all backgrounds, fascinating shorts. I might need to take a look at that, Hippity. I'm struggling to make much sense of that, though, to be fair. I'm really good at predicting weather when it goes from wet to dry. Yeah, that's actually really nice. Can I get my baby without the Alpine paint? Damn. Hello Keith, how you doing? I'm glad you enjoy. Good for you picking up for free. How are you finding the game? Yeah, I remember you said that you got the sporting regulation that gave you more pass, and then they took it away from you, Zach. That was quite rude of them, to be fair. They can't just give you a candy and then take it away. That's very, very mean. Okay. I'm very curious to see now what we end up with in terms of the weather. And Hamilton here has already picked up a bit of a penalty. Okay. Is this from last time? I know we did have, Russell doing his wiggle. I do need to make that into a short because that was funny. I'm kind of also tempted to make the entire Monaco race just into its own little video because that one was also very entertaining. But yeah, Verstappen and squished it between the McLarens. Perez is going to be starting 5th. This is going to be interesting, depending on how the rain is going to behave. It's going to be a very, very funny race. It's starting with light rain here, 1.74 millimeters. And, okay. This might become very weird. So basically, we start into this, we just go full send. We go wets, and we basically go full send. We're going to have to just weather the storm here on this middle part, I think. And then we go into this with the potential for wet set to the end. Honestly, Science has got the right idea, I think, with his strategy. But we're going to start with Inters on both cars anyways. There's just no point starting on anything else. I'm going to underfuel. We're going to go full attack for the first couple laps here. Try and make up some places. And then we're going to conserve once we kind of settled in. Apparently we did go the wrong way on the anti-roll distribution, so let's just get that sorted. After all, we're starting from pits anyways, so no problem with fixing these at the start of the race begin. I'm honestly happy with 97%, so we'll just go with that. Everything seems to be sorted, but yeah, I do need to make a tiny tweak here. Because if I don't, we don't actually start from the pit. We do need to take a quick look at that. Well, watch out this game then, player. Just something doesn't grab me to play it. Love watching others. That's fair. I'm realistic making radical, unexpected rule changes. That does seem to be FIA, yeah. Yeah, guys, the wiggle was a perfect parking job. It was actually beautiful. Atlanta, it's going to jump extremely high. Make a move, I'll be back. See you soon then. But yeah, we're just going to jump straight into this. We will be running a little bit one pass here. I don't think that's going to be a huge deal. Let's see what we can do.
We're moments away now at the Canadian Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go.
Lights out and away we go. I'm just going to put both of these guys to high overtake aggression immediately. Put Alonso back to neutral. And we are waiting for the gang to get a move on here. Everyone is on inters, so no big surprise there. It's going to start pouring down in 4 minutes already. And we're just going to get 2 doses of heavy rain before it goes back to light. I think we might stay inters there for a little bit. Not going to lie. If you time it right, you can jump people stay out too late. Yeah, that's going to be what we have to do here. Curious how much higher it's going to go, because this seems like we might hit almost 4 millimeters, but probably not going to be that bad. We'll have to wait and see. We are catching Gasly though. He's not having a good time. He's already a second off the pack here. And I'm just allowing Alonso to slowly get into this. There's no need for him to push like a madman just yet. An idea how we'll solve the double stack? Probably one car, 1 lap, and the other car the next lap. We'll just have to either take a loss of time, Depends though on how quickly the rain comes down. That's going to be the big one. But yeah, we're already moving forwards a little bit, which is nice to see. Remember, these cars have less than 30% dirty air tolerance. They are really, really bad at following. Like, insanely bad at it. Did we just bully show tremendously there? Kind of. We are gonna allow... We have a virtual safety car. Magnussen has found the wall. He can no longer terrorize us like he did at...
Now this was
did in Italy. Virtual safety car.
And that's one surefire way to put a dampener on your weekend.
Yeah, because of pit stop, we are close to each other, but honestly, it's either we need to double stack because it's just raining super hard, or we sacrifice some time for one of them in order to, you know, compensate, if you will. It's going to be one or the other. We did bully show a little bit, that is true. I also find it funny that Sainz is starting first, because he's driver number 1 when we do pit starts. Okay, so we are already maxed on Sainz. We are not quite there on Alonso, we basically just need an overtake or two and then we'll be there. So in terms of driver stats, we'll be seeing just how powerful having a good driver can be. It will help the fuel, we'll probably be able to run balanced for most of this race with it. And since it is going to be wet the entire time, we might as well run a little bit balanced here and then conserve towards the end. When it's raining, you can get 0.4, 0.5 kilograms back with conserve. So from that perspective, it's actually looking really, really good. I do find it a little bit annoying that we have Hamilton back here with us. That's actually something that we do not need. Because, as you can expect, Hamilton's kind of difficult to overtake. And we've not had a good time with the Mercedes lately. Driver stats are crazy after flushing the best car on the grid and she was still bottom 2. Yeah, when I did the get flushed the World Championship thing, I basically had to have my first driver run a stock car in order to have flush compete. So driver stats are insanely important and they're extremely easy to come by in 24, which is a little bit of a disappointment if you ask me. Come on, just full send it on Hamilton. Not like that. That's not what I meant when I said full send. I hope we are innocent of this crime. When it's about to chuck it down with rain push like a stab, get the jump on them. Sounds like a good idea. Just kill an engine every 4 races. That also sounds very... I can believe it. I'll say it like that. But yeah, decent enough start here. We have one of the dangers out of the race already. We have Hamilton getting out of the way for free. At this rate, we might actually be able to get our way up into the points by the time it really starts chucking down. We have 7 to 11 minutes until we need to consider pitting. And again, we're probably just going to run conserve or light during this section. Because it's either that or we take a gamble and we jump onto fresh wets somewhere in here and think that's going to give us a time advantage. But I can't really see that working out for us. Yeah, for now, we do need to catch up the cars ahead. We did lose some time. Just because of the fact that, well, Hamilton spun it in a bad place. Let's just say it like that. I was kind of tempted to let Alonso by because he seems quicker than Sainz. He's keeping up with Sainz on full attack. But it is time to see if we can get past Ocon, which I mentioned last time is kind of annoying to get by. Going to the forecast? Yeah. Problem though with forecast is that we have a terrible weather center, so it's not necessarily 100% accurate. So I generally don't trust the forecast more than, you know, 5-6 laps ahead. I try and plan for what might happen later, but the last time we had a wet race, last stream actually, it's told us it was going to be like 5 or 6 laps of completely dry towards the end. That did not happen, even though we had a... Did we have a safety car? I think we had a virtual safety car. I don't fully remember. But it was still incredibly wet, so... Unless your weather center is perfect, don't plan too far ahead, because that will very likely bite you in the ass. Yeah, 80% is fairly accurate. I'm pretty sure the weather center we have is level 1. So it's not that accurate. There we go, Alonso gets by. And as I mentioned here, I'm kind of tempted to just ask Sainz to get out of the way, because Alonso still has a lot of energy. We could use it to push. Yeah, Danny Rick is creating a gap to the top here. 5 seconds, 2.5 seconds there. That is going to be painful to deal with, but not impossible. It's also started chucking down a bit more. You can kind of see it. Going to start really chucking down in about 5 seconds.
No guys, for it.
Have Alonso deploy, that way you should get by Sainz.
EG tools.
And
We should be soon.
we bully Sainz. That's not what I wanted to see. I was pushed wide. Alonso! Alonso complains he was pushed wide when he literally put Sainz on the curb. That's amazing.
Okay.
That is amazing. Piastri with the mechanical fault is also gonna keep things spicy. It's a major mechanical fault. Okay. So we're continuing the trend from Monaco. I think we still have a couple of laps in us here before it goes to actual wets. That is a good send there from Alonso. We might get Stroll here too, I think. Maybe not. I think for Sainz, we're actually just going to harvest because we're not making any overtakes in the rain without energy. It's just a shame, but it's true. And we are going to have to do the same here for Alonso very, very soon. I'm just going to see if he can maybe get by her before we do a little bit of harvesting. Like that. Very, very good. Probably a couple more laps here. We're at 3 millimeters. Let's start to get better around 380. So we'll give it a little bit more time here. Put Sainz to neutral just to be on the safe side, so he doesn't get overtaken here in the with the top speed. And start harvesting a little bit with Alonso. We're getting close to the rain. It is a mechanical failure. That's what's popped up. His gearbox have had some damage before I went into the race, and it has evolved into a major failure. So he's just going to fall down the order here, and most likely not score any points for McLaren, which is kind of helpful to us. I'm not going to lie. So we will take that issue. It's a shame that it didn't happen on a dry day, because that would have been better for us in terms of scoring more points. Sainz, are you going to get Hulkenberg here? We should have more drag race potential than it has, and we do. Then back to neutral. And for Alonso here, we are just going to do another lap of harvest. We are going to most likely have to pit one of these guys on this lap. There is just no other way around it.
Start button on.
And yeah, we're going to have to pit one of them this lap and have one go an extra one. But I'm also kind of tempted to just stay out. I'm not going to lie. Like the weather here, we're at 3 point something right now, 3.5 millimeters. If this is actual how low it's going to go, anyone that goes from the west is just going to completely destroy them. So I'm kind of tempted to try and stick it out until here, go on a fresher wet than everyone around us, and see if we can make something happen by doing that. We're also not really overcooking these intus in any way, shape, or form, so it's fine running full attack. Hello, Impa, how you doing? I just completed my Renault mod. Oh! I want to have a look at that. Powered box now, it's about 4mm. We're still a little bit off. But yeah, I'm kind of tempted, as I said, to gamble. It's going to be heavy rain for, as you can see, just 11 minutes really. And after that, we are getting some light rain. It's been going up really, really slow, which is why I'm kind of want to do this gamble. I think it's going to peak at 4.5, maybe 5 if we're unlucky. And as I mentioned, if this goes down back to 2mm, a lot of the wet runners are just going to absolutely destroy their tires. I can give you a Google Drive with it on Discord. Feel free to post it in my Discord if you want to share it. You think a Renault mod is amazing or magnificent? Yeah, I appreciate the work of modders. It's honestly what's keeping the game alive, I think. Yeah, I think we are gonna gamble on staying out. It's a little bit of an insane gamble, but at this point, it's kind of a gamble that we need to take. I need to see what happens in 2 minutes, and then we'll make a decision. Show is already pitting. He's probably going to be our first wet contestant. He is. There is no random mod on overtake. You're doing God's work, son. I think Floof is gonna want to shake your hand and congratulate you for your your service, if you will. Okay. We could split the strategies here. That's what I'm also thinking. We could get one car in. But it seems so likely that it's not going to get very wet here. And if you do jump on the wets here and it gets better after a couple laps, the Intus are still going to be faster for almost 10 laps here. It's a bit of a tough choice. Roll of a dice, take a chance, get an open to advance to me. Either for India or Racing Point, and I have them both. Damn. Yeah, I think, honestly, you should just, if you made the mods, just go ahead and post them on Overtake, for instance, and make yourself a Patreon. Some people aren't gonna like chuck you a 5 or a 10 for your work, because there are a lot of fans of those teams who probably are looking for mods like that. Not gonna lie. But yeah, we'll have to see how Leclerc show here does shred their tires, because that is honestly what's going to happen. They're just going to immediately destroy them. And while pit stops here are fairly short, I think it is for the best to just stay out. It's going to go light rain and light rain again in 8 minutes. So we're just going to have 8 minutes of barely wet. Look how slowly that's going up. We are gambling on staying out. We also have fairly decent adaptability on these boys. So being on the wrong tire isn't actually going to hurt us that much. We are still going to be fairly rapid. And if we look at the AI here, there's just 2 of them that have made the choice to switch. So I think staying out is going to be the correct choice. We can get through the field with help of our adaptability. And once it actually starts raining, we can put on a fresh wet and just go full attack. I think that is going to be the game plan here. I tried to post and got blocked for 24 hours? What? Combine the teams ice and let force racing. Honestly, I would actually find that funny too. If you took like 2 teams, combined their liveries, and just made like force racing, as you say, Hippity, it would be kind of funny. I have signed find your account as a bot account. Did he not verify, perhaps? I'll take a look at it after the stream, Impa. I appreciate it. I didn't force India to a Star Wars livery. Here we have Hibbity asking the important questions in life with the tagline used to force. You guys keep things interesting at least. Okay. Let's see if we can move past Albono. Okay, so Alonso's now found himself a lot of free air to play around with it. Piastri is still holding on to the third place on the podium. That's actually kind of wild. He has massive gearbox damage. Let's see if Alonso can close down the gap to anyone above. But yeah, it is going to get slightly lighter now. Then we're going to get moderate rain. So we're doing probably at least 10 more laps on these tires, I would think. I just feel like the color scheme is very drab and dreary right now. But yeah, honestly, except for Sainz here, we do need to get by Danny Rick. Like, look at the gap here, already 4 seconds for Alonso. We are currently in a very, very good position, I dare say. And because there's going to be some big gaps to deal with now, we can just put both of them to neutral. Speed up time a little bit, because honestly, there's nothing we really can do here to manage. Fuel is kind of okay at the moment, I dare say. We might want to manage fuel a little bit, but honestly, I want Alonso to catch up to the cars ahead, if possible. Because if he catches up to, you know, Hauger Paris train, we could do some pit magic. And Leclerc hasn't actually shredded his wets here as much as I expected. So he might still come out as a bit of a winner, but let's face it, the shredding period is just about to begin. So I shouldn't make any... I shouldn't make a decision if he's shredded them or not until he's actually gotten to the dry period. We are walking into it right now. Does most of mine replace liveries and logos, not names, so that is minus. It is still good, Impa. Don't worry. Not sure if McLaren and Andretti even works. Yeah, this is where they're going to absolutely just destroy the wet tires. Alonso is also closing up on Tsunoda and Russell. Actually closing up on Verstappen even by a second, so looking good. We're still a pit stop behind, but nothing a safety car can't fix here. I'm gonna go ahead and harvest a little bit for Sainz, just because I don't like seeing them run into 0% on their energy. There we are. I'm also gonna go ahead and harvest a little bit on Alonso. We are getting close to the cars ahead. So having energy to get the overtakes done is going to be key here. There's going to be 3 cars in a row. Russell, Tsunoda, and Hauger. We do need a little bit of energy. They're also going to be squabbling, so we're not going to be losing a lot of time here while charging. Maybe half a second a lap. And that's not really a lot. I want to get the recharge done. Honestly, I should have done it when there was 3 seconds. That would have been better for tire temps. Yeah, Alonso is ready now to attack. We can actually just do the same with Sainz, do a little bit of recharging. It is still basically 6 laps. Well, not 6 laps. 6 laps thereabouts until we need to go to the wets. And while Leclerc hasn't shredded his wets here a lot, it's still not great. He is going to be able to, you know, like undercut Verstappen, Norris, Piastri, and Perez. So Leclerc could actually play the role of secret agent man here and actually cause a lot of problems for those teams, because he'll be on worn wets and he'll be ahead of them, slowing them down. So it's going to get very, very spicy in the near future. Next project is all on Red Bull. That's nice. G'day NeroBax, how are you? Hello Raiden, I am doing good. Just been a very busy day, so I decided to stream instead of sitting down and edit a video, so that'll be for tomorrow instead. Yeah, other than that, other than being busy, I am good, really. And I'm really looking forward to next Friday when Wilds come out. Oh, and Red Bull is just as random as McLaren and Andretti. You're not wrong, I guess. But yeah, Leclerc is losing a lot of time now. He's not going to undercut anyone. Look at this, he's already falling behind us, even with Alonso not really pushing.
Press and hold the overtake. Copy.
So yeah, definitely a good idea to wait with pitting. Leclerc's race is kind of ruined with that decision. And can we actually get Tsunoda here too? If we can get Tsunoda and Hauge, that would be amazing. But energy-wise, we are lacking a little bit, and it is going to start chucking down in 1 lap's time. How is Hauge's tires doing? He has a tire advantage. Sargent is pitting. Ocon is pitting. Don't tell me you guys are... Oh, you actually are. You poor summer children. It's still a minute until it starts raining and you're already going for wet tires. That's a bit early. Black in time now? That's good to hear. Sounds good, Impa. Joe Shower. Yeah, I do need to put Sainz back to neutral. I kind of forgot about that. Kind of been wasting a little bit of pace here. He's 7 seconds now behind Alonso. Okay, we are getting to the point now where we need to consider pitting. It is fairly quick to go around a lap here, and you aren't too punished being on inters. So I think we do 1 more lap. Piastri is pitting, that's fine. We are going to allow Sainz here maybe to do a little bit of pushing with his energy, but I don't think it's going to matter much. He's not going to get undercut or anything like that. Yeah, Piastri here, we can see he's not really gaining any time with the amount of water on the track. But this should be the time when we go full wets for both of them. There's enough of a gap that we can do so. And I think we will be fine going on this lap. Verstappen has decided to stay out 1 more. Not really a terrible idea, honestly. But we are taking the gamble here. Norris and Tsunoda are coming in alongside us. Sainz is also in the pit here. Finally, some pit stops under 3 seconds. We have a yellow flag. Norris ran wide. Okay, so nothing too serious.
Right, so this was the 4th corner. Oh, we've seen a few go off the track.
There it is, it's chucking down. Yeah, you're not wrong, Zach.
Watch the car there.
Yeah. Lando survived. That yellow flag could have been really, really bad for us. But the question now is, can we undercut anyone ahead? For Sainz, it's just getting Albon and Stroll again. And honestly, that's going to happen even if we don't do anything. Like, Sainz has already got them sorted. The question here is going to be if Alonso, if we push and get Hauge, that would be peak if we could pull that off. Condition has changed to wet now. Up in Perez, Hauge, I would assume Russell too. No, is Russell staying out? Russell's doing 1 more lap. That's not super amazing for him. Hauge is out there on the wets. Alonso is coming out now through the down the main straight. Are we gonna get him into the corner? Nope. He got out ahead of us, unfortunately. Let's do a little bit of harvesting here while we catch up, and then we'll get some moves done. So we didn't actually win out here under the pits. But we do have both cars into the points now, and honestly, can only get better from here. We're going to try and deploy while Hauge still has colder tires. And just try and bully our way past. He is in a Ferrari, so he's in a superior car. I think we might be able to just get by here. That is the gamble, and it did pay off. Put him back down to balanced. Okay, Sainz, you are now going to do basically the exact same thing. Just do a very, very simple overtake. I'm going to put Alonso on top up. Have him chase down Piastri, Perez. Russell, who has yet to pit again. He's already lost 10 seconds to us. And if we're lucky, it might hold up Perez and Piastri a little bit here, but unfortunately he got caught on the straight. So I don't think we're going to get as much of a hold up here as we hoped. Russell finally peels off into the pits. And with that, Sainz is actually going to get him here too. Not the yellow flag. It's not going away. Sector 1.
Yellow flag.
Spin from Gasly. That's not going to really affect our race in any way, shape or form. But yeah, Russell now behind Sainz. It's very, very nice to see. Verstappen has gotten the lead, yeah. He's just 5 seconds up ahead there from Norris. He's going to be a hard man to catch. But honestly, considering that this is a wet race, I'd say we are doing well so far. Well, the Wall of Champions scares me every time my drivers go through. That's fair. It's very... It's called that for a reason. That wall. Verstappen and rain is a dangerous combination, yeah. Just remember Brazil if you want to see Verstappen, rain, and a dangerous combination. But yeah, right now there's not really much we can do. Sainz needs to catch up power gear, which honestly we'll do with relative ease, I think. They're just to complete the different drivers, and then we just need Alonso here to slowly but surely make his way forwards. A little bit of harvesting here just so we have enough energy. I want to be up to 70-80%, like so. And let's see now if Sainz has what it takes to get this pass done. I'm also going to recharge Alonso a little bit. A load of free air. We're not putting a lot of heat in the tires. Might as well just take the opportunity. It is going to rain for another 20-ish laps. So as long as we play our cards right here, we might be looking at a podium. There we go. Sainz easily squeezes by. Brazil twice in rain has been insane. 2016 and last season. Yeah, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. He is scary good in the rain. Right now, though, we are kind of settling in. We're just going to speed up this race a little bit. I think we are good too on energy. I'm kind of still impressed by how well Piastri is holding out with that basically destroyed gearbox. I would expect him to fall way further behind after 40 laps than just down to 5th. I don't think we can fight for a win here, but we could potentially get a podium for Alonso. We're lucky. That is going to be what we will be working towards. We're also going to go ahead and push the engine a little bit while we still have rain and free air. And it is going to go into us not soon, but towards the end of this race. Yeah, Piastri is still doing very, very good with that damaged gearbox of his. It's actually kind of insane. Remember, we need about 10 laps to regain fuel to be on the safe side. So there's nothing wrong right now with pushing the fuel. It's actually 100% in our favor to do so. Norris now with a mechanical fault. The McLarens are falling apart this race. In Monaco, the Red Bulls gave up. In this race, McLarens are giving up. Yeah. I'm actually gonna wait 1 or 2 more laps here before we give Alonso the full push order, if you will. And we are going to put him back to balance, I think, once we pass Piastri. Simply because pushing too hard can be a little bit detrimental for us. Show's failure has become well, really bad. It's the gearbox that has exploded, so he's gonna retire or cause a safety car, but I think he will retire before he does that, luckily for us. Hello Gergos, how you doing? Yeah, Show has retired. He is out of the race. No chance of getting a freebie safety car from him, unfortunately. There we go. Alonso has made his way past. We're going to put it back down to balanced. And we're now just a couple of seconds here off a potential podium. Yeah, dirty air, probably not as big of a concern if you have an amazing driver. Danny Rick's fault has escalated to a major one as well. Maybe we get a safety car here. Would be kind of hilarious if we got the safety car perfectly timed. Similar to last time. No safety car. Am I putting gym training or pit drills? I'm doing a combination of both, Yorgos. Right now, our average pit stops is about 2.8 seconds with 8% chance of failure or making a mistake. So I'm doing a bit of a combination of both. I'm not too worried as long as the pit stops are around 2.8, 2.9 seconds. As long as they don't mess them up. That is my mentality anyways. Okay, let's see if we can move Alonso past the Red Bull. With a little bit of a dizzying point of view. Hulkenberg's fault has also escalated. Chances of a safety car are increasing. Come on, just do it like we practice, Alonso. Okay, I think we are getting closer now to going back to inters. We are. Let's just moderate rain now. The second this goes under 4, we are going to jump into the pits. And then we're basically just going to push till the end. Besides that now, we're going to turn him back down to balance 2. We do kind of need to run low for a little while. Or rather conserve. Even though it is raining, we are quite far behind here on fuel. But now that we should be okay. Isn't that a lot? It's a fairly slow pit stop, yes, but basically once you have gotten your chance of making error down to 3-4%, maxed it out basically, you can then go maximum gym for a season and then you'll be down to about 2 seconds. So it depends on your priorities. If you want to have pit stops that are 2.2 seconds in your first season but have a 15% chance of making a pit stop error, that's going to be perfectly up to you. So don't worry, it's basically just boils down to what your preferences are. In my case, I prefer to just make sure that while my stops are a little bit slow, I can guarantee that there's no mistakes in, you know, the majority of them. Some people want fast pit stops and are willing to take the risk. I am of the opposite opinion, but there's no right or wrong here. It just boils down to personal preference. So feel free to ask as many questions as you want, and I'll try and respond to them. Don't worry about it. No need to apologize. Hey, Sainz, I need you to get Perez, and I need Alonso here to get Leclerc. Like that. And for Sainz, come on, get Perez. Once we go to inters, we are going to go conserve on fuel. Basically, I'm just trying to push right now by running balance, by pushing energy to ensure that we get as many easy overtakes done while we still can. I think Sainz should be able to hold on. It is a drag race with a Red Bull. And we are probably going to pit this next lap, so I'm kind of tempted to deploy a little bit more to create a little bit of a bigger gap. For Alonso, it should be fine. For Sainz, it's going to be a little bit risky. I do believe. Hello, Dashiel. Does fuel affect lap time? Yes, which is why underfueling is so powerful. Yeah. Basically, I just want to get the overtakes done, and then we can run conserve. I think we push one more lap through here. It's not going to be amazing. But it's going to be safer, because we have still some energy. We can deploy if say, Paris pits behind us here. We just deploy to make up the difference. Hello, I don't know F1 Manager for better graphic, and it starts to lagging. How to fix it? Basically, the graphic mod is not optimized in any way, shape, or form, Victor. So if your game is lagging with the optimal graphic setting or optimal maximal graphics preset, then unfortunately your computer might just not be enough to drive it. Like, I had to tweak the settings a little bit to get mine to work properly. So you can try and change your in-game settings to be a little bit lighter. But generally, keep in mind that that mod is very, very graphic intense. And if your game is chugging, if your game is lagging, then you most likely just don't have a good enough PC to run it, because again, it is very, very taxing computer. I you can't underestimate how taxing it actually is. There's also a screen now still that is actually causing problems for me. If I go into the car analysis screen and I stay on that screen for too long, my graphic card almost overheats. It goes up to 80 degrees because for some reason that screen is more taxing than the race view. So keep that in mind. If you are lagging using maximum graphic preset mod, I would recommend to just straight up remove it. We are going to pit both cars here. We have, I believe, enough of a gap. It's going to be a little bit risky because there's just 4 seconds between them. But it is a risk that I am willing to take. And unfortunately here, Sainz were unable to get past Leclerc. We'll have to see if anyone else jumps into pits. They do not. And we are the only 2 teams that are doing an early stop here. And that is a slow stop, of course. That's what we want to avoid. That is bad for Sainz. He lost 3 seconds there because of my tomfoolery. Hauge is going to hold us up here too. That really put us in a bad spot. That undid a lot of good right there. I thought we would be safe, but we hit that 8% chance of misfortune, unfortunately. Okay, for now, both cars are far enough behind the car they're following that I'm not worried. But it is going to just be full interstate till the end. I'm curious why the others aren't pitting. But this might actually still work out in our favor then. A little bit of harvesting here for Sainz is going to need to. And yeah, Leclerc on those 59% wets versus 80% for everyone else. As you can see, going early on them has definitely cost him a lot. But right now, we are in a little bit of pain. Isn't top-up better? Basically, the difference between top-up and harvest is just how much you regenerate over the course of a lap. Top-up is going to be kind of in your lap time, but you're still going to be losing basically the same. It's just going to take you 5 laps to recharge rather than 1. So, it depends on your situation. Here, I want to recharge Sainz pretty quick, because we're on a better tire behind a car on wets. So we can recharge. We can then use energy later on to close the gap, get by, things like that. But I'm wondering if we ran out of weather here, because it does kind of look like that. It got stuck at 364. It's going to be kind of interesting then. Lap times are basically very similar to across the board here, so maybe staying on the wets might have actually been a good idea. As weird as that sounds. But it is going slightly further down now, so we might see them jump into the pits on... well, very soon anyways. There we go, we got Alonso by. Alonso we can run top up here because he has 11 seconds of free air to the car ahead. And we do need to run also a little bit conserve here now. Just to be on the safe side so we don't run out of fuel. We'll have to see it though. There's 12 laps. They've decided to stay on the wets. I'm really curious how this is going to work out for them, honestly. They might have bamboozled me. Hey man, just started Playful Manage last week and when they gave it away for free, helped me learn a lot about how to develop and improve cars, so thank you. Appreciate it, Omega. I'm glad it helped. Found the point of those videos. I'm glad you found them helpful. Appreciate it. I feel like Harvest slows you down a lot, but of course you know better than me. Basically, Harvest is going to slow you down a lot because you're recharging 1 megajoule. Basically, what actually this means is that instead of you being able to use 2 megajoule a lap, you're now only able to use 1 because you're limited on how much you can harvest. So basically, you aren't actually harvesting any extra energy. You're using less energy. So of course you're going to be a lot slower. But you get all of that slow out of the way over the course of 1 lap versus with top up, it's going to take 5 laps. So the reason why Harvest feels so slow is because it is. But it's just because it's 1 lap worth of slow versus you know, sharing it over 5 laps. So you're still going to lose a similar amount of time if you use top up or harvest. It's just differing situations. I'm not sure if it's the same in this year's game. In F1, minus 22, the Wazbek good till 3.5mm. What on this track? Yeah, but we're getting close to 311. So the others are going to start to struggle now. I probably could have waited a little bit longer before I went on them and split my pit stops. But we're getting to the point now where we are seconds faster than the cars ahead. Norris's fault is also evolved. And as this just gets lower and lower, they're going to suffer more and more. 10 laps to go here. We are 1 second lap faster. Podium is going to be a little bit difficult to get to, I'm not going to lie. But we're going to get quicker and quicker because it's drying up, but also because the wets are going to get absolutely just shredded here. So all in all, I think we made a good choice, but it still remains to be seen. I say fuel 1 lap before pitting, then 1 lap ago out, save up to fuel. Save fuel by pitting. Well, you save fuel by going slow, so the strategy is sound, but you would lose a lot of time doing that, Eric. I think that mode for the better graphics also for a weak PC. The thing is, there is ray traced and there's non-ray traced. Try the non-ray traced version. It's gonna be kinder on your PC, so give that a go, Victor. If you are using the ray traced version, use a non-ray traced one, and worst case scenarios, turn down your resolution, and that's gonna help out a little bit. For item colors, I'll try to keep it white, but is yellow any better? Okay, so this is actually something that is not explained very well in the game. So, as you can see here, we are overheating this tire. That's what it says. It's overheating in bright red colors. Basically, anyone that sees this for the first time would assume that this is really, really bad. You don't want to do this. The reality of the situation is this is actually very nice because we get extra tire performance. It does increase tire wear rate, but the tire wear rate is following the expected wear. And as long as it's following the expected wear for full attack, you're perfectly fine. When we talk about overheating tires, we actually worried about this right here, 105 degrees. These tires aren't actually going to see a very bad wear rate. Basically, they aren't going to start falling apart until I go over 105 degrees. So overheating them to 95 degrees is perfectly fine. And you can do this for any tire. Just go down bottom left here, the car, tires, just hover over, and it'll give you the information of how hard you can actually push these tires before you start getting into trouble. Now, in this case, as I said, they are degrading as expected. If we look at this, this is our expected degradation. As long as the white line is following it, we are perfectly fine. And we're actually quick. This is actually the quickest we can run these tires. So you don't need to actually worry about that. I know that yellow and red numbers are kind of scary in this game. But again, as long as you check what the maximum temperature is and don't run above it, you'll be perfectly fine. Basically, if you already have one of 2, harvest is better. First or second place. Basically, if I want to say, basically the way I use particularly top up is if there's a huge gap to the car ahead, I'll use top up if I want to slowly gain on them. I'll also use top up if I can't harvest and stay within DRS. So top up is basically just like again, it's just situationally different. They're both things you can do, but harvest is just get the energy back quicker. Top up is say I want to stay in the DRS car in front without losing it. I'm gonna use top up to be safe. It's that sort of you know, need to make a decision based on the situation, if that makes sense. Tsunoda's fault is also evolved right now. I think only tire. Am I British? No, I'm Norwegian. I did play a lot of games with British gamers, so I did pick up some of their accent. But I am Norwegian. Welcome back, Impa. Does the ERS mode affect its durability? Yes, generally you are going to be using it a lot more if you say use deploy a lot. I generally just keep mine in neutral. It seems to do the trick. But the main thing to keeping the ERS healthy is actually engine temperature. If the engine is overheating, your ERS and your gearbox also is affected by that. So keep that in mind. Where is that? There we go. So the powertrain temperature here. If the powertrain is overheating, your engine, ERS, and gearbox all lose their ability quicker, which is also why underfueling is so powerful. It's basically two very good reasons why underfueling should be done basically anytime you can. English is brilliant. Thought you were from UK. Thank you. At least I've avoided the potato Norwegian like we usually have. Nothing to do with the game indeed, but I was just wondering what's my prediction for who will win constructors and drivers in 2025. Honestly, I can't predict that. We had a close fight last year. I think it's just going to get even closer this year. I kind of want to see Hamilton win in Ferrari. I feel like that would be amazing. I'm from Norway. Phenomenal. I am a Norwegian fellow. Yes, potato Norwegian. You know exactly what I'm talking about, Brat. Norwegians that haven't spoken a lot of English sound like they're speaking with a potato in their mouths. Like Holland, yeah. Okay, we're actually quite quick here. We are gaining 3 seconds a lap on Verstappen. We are gaining 3 seconds a lap on Verstappen. If we keep this up, if it gets drier, it's not going to get drier, is it? It's going to get a little wetter here. Heavy rain. We could potentially catch Verstappen here too. Interestingly enough, if Alonso gets a move on here. Last lap gained 3.1 seconds. 4 seconds on Norris. Let's just deploy here so we can get a move on past the McLaren. It needs to happen. But yeah, the weather is going a little bit up. That is not in our favor, but tire-wise, 57, 58. Leclerc's tires are very likely to explode by the end of this, and we also just picked our fastest lap. 4.3 seconds gained that lap. So we are actually moving at a fairly rapid pace here, I dare say. If we can move science forwards too, I do need to pay attention to fuel. That's going to be a very important thing to do these last 4 laps. I think generally we should be fine. I talk potato Norwegian, so I understand what you mean. That's fair. This year is going to be a good year, I think. Such big change 2026 that they didn't do very much this year, car. Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think they're going to be very, very close this year, and it's going to be probably a lot of fun, honestly. You've never seen Holland, they're in the same room. I know, even close to as tall as that man is. How much I usually underfuel? As much as I'm allowed to. Like, my base strategy, Dashiel, is that I underfuel as much as I'm allowed and just run conserve the entire race. The exception here is wet weather, because you can much easier regain fuel. You don't use as much fuel in wet weather. You still want to underfuel maximum, but you can do some balance, you can do some push, and you'll still be fine. But if you underfuel maximum, you're going to have to run conserve for basically the entire race. So just do keep that in mind. There we go, Sainz is up in the podium places. We are still chasing down Verstappen here. 3 seconds gained that last lap. We are going to catch him at this rate. Alonso is going to catch Verstappen because none of these guys decided to go on inters. And they should all have inters, so I don't know what the pit wall is doing. They are sleeping at the wheel. Is there any track that underfueling doesn't work? Not that I've noticed, Yorgos. I've underfueled basically every track, and all of them have worked just fine. Where do I think Haas is going to end up? I kind of want to say 7th, to be fair. But I haven't paid that much attention to what's been happening over the summer break, so they might surprise us. Summer break? Winter break. What am I talking about? Will it be a 1-2? Probably not. Sainz is just a little bit too far back. And we are gaining, again, 3 seconds a lap. He has 2 laps left here. With deploy, we might be able to make it happen. If we deploy all of our energy to catch up, it might be possible, but even then it's going to be really, really close. Final lap is also about to start here for Alonso. Verstappen might just be able to hold off. We'll have to see.
Understood.
But yeah, Sainz is not catching him. He's just too far behind, unfortunately. But we are getting both cars on the podium, and I'll take that. Time to do a little bit of deploying here, and we'll see that slow Red Bull up ahead. Leclerc did get the puncture, as I predicted. We've used the entire battery. We're getting an overtake on the final lap of the GP. Gonna go balance fuel here just to be on the safe side, even though +1 should be plenty.
Could you just introduce 3 seconds of liftoff around the lap?
Yes, 3 seconds of liftoff past the 2 final corners. Let's go, GP. But yeah, Alonso gets the win.
You need to look up.
Sainz is 4 seconds behind, so let's face it, that pit failure, the pit problem actually cost us a 1-2 here. As sad as that is. Leclerc is still alive. We'll have to see if Russell catches him or not. But yeah, he does have the puncture, as I predicted here. And he is going to be fairly slow. Russell is chasing him down. But Leclerc is not actually giving up here. Oh, there we go. There flies to Russell. Is Tsunoda going to get Leclerc? I don't think so. Leclerc actually comes into finishes 9th here with a punctured rear left. I've got a high-end PC, but I added a new max graphic mod and my game seems very grainy. Have I done something wrong? Which of the max graphic mod settings did you add? You might have picked a resolution that is lower than your actual resolution. That would be that could cause some graining. You support Alpine regularly? I'm not really an Alpine supporter, but we do have one particular person that usually drop by these streams who is the biggest Alpine fan you'll ever met, Blue. So we honor Alpine a little bit because of his enthusiasm. Let's just put it like that. Use the database editor to replicate 2025 grid. That's good. But I also believe that the guy behind database editor is working with a couple of other modders to actually make a proper 2025 mod. I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do with that. Whenever I play, I just hate it when it's sprint weekend because I can never get the setup sorted. How do I deal with that? Generally, unless you do the first practice manually, you are going to struggle with getting good setups for sprints. But you can change the setups between the... Once you're done with the sprint race, you can actually change the setup before you go into quali for the main race and kind of fix the issues a little bit there. So it's either do manually the practice before the sprints or make an adjustment after the sprint race to get it a little bit better. It depends on how much time you're willing to sacrifice, really. How can I make my car faster? I'm on Austria and my Williams is still slow. I've already designed and manufactured a lot of car parts. Basically, every car part in this game has things that it's good and bad at. And basically, the way to get faster is to place the sliders in the correct locations, if that makes sense. So if I take a look at a design, let's say that I want to make a front wing, just as an example. The front wing is generally going to be very, very good at low-speed cornering. So in my case, I would generally just maximize the low-speed cornering ability on my front wing. For instance, if I say try and make a front wing that is medium speed cornering focus, you can see that we are going to lose a lot of low speed. And similarly, if I do the same here with high speed, we're losing a ton of low speed cornering. So try and make wings that maximize, or rather try and make parts that maximize what the parts are good at. I have videos kind of covering that on my channel if you're curious. But keep in mind also that if you do min-max your parts, it might get a little bit boring. So it might be better to just kind of figure this out on your own. It might feel more rewarding. And also don't be afraid to put the durability slider down. It doesn't actually affect your parts in any meaningful way. You'll still be fine in terms of parts unless you have, say, Sergeant on your team. Should I get all Odd hours into one research to kind of spread them out. I prefer to do one, but then again, I do basically one for each part of the course of the season. So it's up to you if you want to do all in one, or if you want to do each CFD wind tunnel period into one part and then switch up for the next one. Is there a mod in which driver retained the original helmet? I don't know of, unfortunately. I'm glad you enjoyed the content. Appreciate it. Yeah, the front wing, I prefer it with the front wing. Just a bit of a heads up. If you turn this all the way down, it's 1 to 2. If you do 2 ticks like that, it's 2 to 4. That's going to save you a lot of money, and it's not going to cost you a lot of performance. So that is a good idea. Same, just 1 tick on the rear wing. But speaking of the rear wing, do we actually have enough money to make another one? I think we have just about enough. So we're going to make this one. It's actually going to be a pretty sizable upgrade. 7% DRS effectiveness, some top speed, some cornering. Get that dirty air balance a little bit better on our side. And we are going to go ahead and start this design. It's going to cost us 1.8 million. So we're going to make this. If we have damage to the cars, it's going to be very, very sad. And we do. We are going to have to drive with the very, very bad suspension this next race because we just don't have money. And that is just going to be how we're going to have to live with this. So as you can see here, this is going to be car 2. It's going to be a little bit worse than car 1. And that's just going to have to be like that because we are lacking parts. Financially, we are still a bit of a mess here because I'm trying to min-max a little bit too hard, I think. But yeah, in terms of standings also, I didn't actually go over this properly. We gained 20 to 13 points on some of these teams, which is good. Drivers' Championship, Alonso moves up to 6th, ahead of his teammate. They're both actually the same amount of points. Alonso just has 2 wins. So I think we will be able to fight for the drivers by the end of this season. But anything more than that is going to be difficult to predict, I think. How many iterations of design do I do for each party season? I usually do up to, say this is the 3rd design. I usually do up to the 5th one in a regular season, and then I focus research. But that too can change depending on, what regulation change there is. And, if I want to compete this season, then I might go up to 7 or even 9 designs. But generally, in terms of what I design, I usually do CFD on the underfloor, the first period. I do CFD on the front wing, the second period. And I do CFD on the rear wing, the third period. So these parts don't go that high up. I only make 2 to 3 rear wing designs. I only make 2 front wing designs, and I also only make 2 underfloor designs. So it's only suspension, side post, and chassis that I make up to, the 5th version of. The rest I just don't. Hello, Deva. Appreciate it. Saw a lot of your videos, and the one you drives training when the update came out. Do you plan to make a fresher? You mean how they added driver? You're talking about the drive development focuses for drivers? Because honestly, it's still fairly accurate. Or is it a different video that you are thinking of? Okay, sponsor review in 3 days. Need to start making another suspension, at least. Board attendance. Wait, I always deny this because you can never have full control over a race weekend. And I feel like accepting that is just a one-way ticket to some trouble. But yeah, we got 7 million from that sponsor plan. We'll take that. And I'm going to go ahead here and immediately start manufacturing an additional suspension because we're going to need it. And we can get it just in time for Austria. Okay. That suspension shouldn't break. We have a lot of things here that are medium risk, including chassis. And the chassis are the big bad wolf here in terms of risk. So the underfloors, we can go back to this one if it's a crisis. So I think for denial, we're not going to make underfloors. I don't want to make the upgraded, well, side post just yet, but we might as well get started on it, I guess. Let's make an additional chassis. I'm going to rush this chassis just to be on the safe side. Front wings, we have 4. The rear wings, I do want to make the new ones for next race week. But I think we'll just wait for one more design to go through. Let's make an extra side pod instead. There we are. Next up, we're going to make the final side pod design, as I mentioned. And generally, when I start seasons, I prefer to make a side pod like this, which is basically just cornering plus engine cooling. And then later on, we add some top speed on the side pod, because side pod can kind of do everything. This is going to be the final side pod design of this season. Let's just get that out of the way. And this is also the final suspension design, and then we just need to make 2 more chassis designs. Yeah, we're going to put the affiliates here into work. Basically, putting affiliates on marketing is very, very powerful. That way you don't actually lose anything other than, you know, their performance, if you will. Don't do this to anyone you're actually trying to raise up, but if you have an affiliate that isn't going anywhere, feel free to put them on marketing to help you with sponsorships. Except the only one my team is dominating, I guess. But I tried to negotiate with drivers personnel before summer break, as there is way less counter offers by the teams. Yeah, you should go ahead and get that done before summer break. You'll have far more options, making it a lot easier. You can also, you know, go in for immediate contracts if you feel like the mentality takes a hit. But as long as your drivers have a good mentality, the rest of your staff don't really matter too much. But I would definitely go ahead and buy, get your staff before the summer break. We're probably going to do that very, very soon in this save too. Yeah, development focus. I have Stroll and Drugovich main, but affiliates Antonelli and Behrman should put both main drivers on car development training. So for Stroll and Drugovich, I would say yes. They just aren't going to develop enough. Antonelli and Behrman both have better potential than those guys. So honestly, I would put both of them on, you know, actual training. Put your drivers on car development. And then pick up a couple more affiliates to put on marketing. Doesn't really matter how good those affiliates are too. By cheap affiliate, just use them as a coin to get the best sponsor bonuses. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about, Omega. Is it optimal to go with 150,000 remaining into double race weekend? No. But I've been doing it this way because I'm trying to min-max and take some risks. Generally, financially, you want to have some money in the bank, but it's not super bad unless you end up in the negatives. You'll be fine, Gabriella. It's when you end up in the negatives that the board get very, very angry with you. Good night, Walk. Thank you for stopping by. Have a good evening. Yeah, we are gonna head into Barcelona here. See what Spain has to offer us. This is one of the highest stake tracks on the calendar, which is going to make things interesting. And safety cars also make the pit stop save really, really cheap. This could get very, very interesting. Now with our cars, we're not actually expected to score a lot of points here. Just barely get into the points. Let's see if we can beat that prediction.
Thank you for joining us for the Spanish Grand
I always go with
here in
just
Barcelona.
100,000 in bank into a race weekend. That's basically what I've been doing this save. So I can't say that it's bad and then do it myself. I feel that is bad. That's a bad thing to do. That's being hypocritical. But generally, you do want to have some money on hand for extra parts. I've seen a lot of people had their saves kind of ruined by just going a million or two into debt, and then it just keeps on building because they're forced to emergency manufacture every weekend. And that can really, really quickly destroy our save. So keep your finances somewhat okay. Again, 100,000 or so is fine. It's just when you start going into debt, try and use older parts instead of emergency manufacturing. Because once you're in debt, it's going to be hard to get out. But apart from that, you're probably fine, honestly. It's more of that basically risk-reward that I've been talking about a lot. Just, is the risk of going into debt acceptable to me? If it's a yes, then feel free to put yourself as deep into the hole as you want. Okay, so we are off here one way on the high speed. That is something I'm pretty sure of. I'm also going to go ahead here and give a new ERS here to Sainz. I feel like he deserves it. And we are probably also going to consider giving him a new engine here. We are getting almost halfway point of the season. We should probably start using these two engines mainly for practice, switching them back and forth a little bit. It is going to have an effect on our pit crew, but I think this is when we should start considering doing so. Okay, let's get our cars out there. We are just going to take manual control, allow them to do a lap here. Like so. And then we'll see what the setups are like. Does the sliders of the second design research have to be the same as in the first one, while the research from the first one being carried over to next research, ensure with the durability? So basically, Paul, the way durability works is that it's basically the lighter the part is, the better its performance is going to be. So if you make a low durability part and then a heavier part, the heavier part is generally going to be worse even with the same sliders. Now, in terms of research stacks. So you can have the same sliders and keep on doing the same research, and they'll just keep on improving time and time again. So there's nothing wrong with using the same sliders for the same research. They are going to take that into account, and it is going to keep on improving the car. It's not going to overwrite the first one or anything like that. The research does stack. Why do I run on conserve? You mean fuel? Well, in terms of, if you're talking about the quality here, we're starting from the pits anyway, so there's no need for me to push engine, tires, anything. We just want to do a lap here so I can see exactly where our setups are, so I can tweak them before I go into the race weekend. We're not actually doing this to set a competitive qualifying time. Why from pits? Because it's making the game more challenging, Jojo. So we're basically just playing with the worst team right now. First season, have to start from the pits every race and try and win the championship. Basically, the game has got to the point where where I've already gone through most of the basics. So while we wait for next year's game, if it comes, we are doing some challenges here. But the challenge was to make fast pit lane. No, it has nothing to do with pit stops. This challenge, Jojo. So this is just, the challenge is just start from the pit lane and then try and win. But now I do understand why there was some question marks. Why is it called a pit lane challenge if I have 2.8 second pit stops and I'm happy about them? That makes so much more sense now. But yeah. No, it's nothing to do with pit stops. It's just straight up start from the pit lane at the start of every race and try and do well. That's literally what this is. Okay, we need to tweak our setup here. Again, we just do that tiny little tweak there. It's enough for starters from pit lane. And unfortunately, this does not actually tell us where I needed to go. That's a bit unfortunate, but I think I figured it out. Maybe not. We need to go the other way. I don't think this is perfect, but we'll take it. It's close enough. And in terms of the strategy that we're going to do here, I think we first need to take a look at what we have left of tires. So this is a very heavy track in terms of degradation. So I'm kind of tempted to just go full attack on a harder to start off with. Then we jump onto the medium, and then we add 2 soft stints towards the end here. And this should actually be a fairly decent strategy. We are starting from the back. So the medium stint here is to try and do some undercutting. The hard stint here is just to try and get something done early on. And the light soft is basically just to build advantage. Because the degradation is so high around here, just running light soft stints is generally just going to be quicker than doing anything else. As you can see, I just tweaked this strategy a little bit with 3 light soft stints instead of an aggressive one, and we saved 4 seconds. This strategy is still going to get slower, but generally the idea here is just straight up that we burn the first stint, we don't care, we just want to pit before everyone else. We go into the medium, we try and undercut as many cars as possible, then we do 2 light soft stints at the end. And honestly, I think that is going to be our best bet. So let's get that sorted for the second car here too. And then we'll make a couple of soft stints to the end. Just like that. There we are. Now, as I mentioned, if you do underfuel maximum here, which is what we're going to do, as long as you run conserve the entire race, you are going to get back into positive fuel. That's just how things are. If you're also struggling with fuel, you can sit behind another car. It allows you to save a little bit. It's not going to be a lot, but it's, you know, every little bit helps. So that is something that you can do. But yeah, this is what we're going to try. Can't guarantee it's going to work around here, but I think it's one of the better options that we have. I won my first race in F1 for Yuki Tsunoda today. Very well done, Mountain Dude. Congratulations. Why 3? I saw your video and said about 2 pit stops. Well, because this also takes into account where we're starting, Georgios. Thank you for the heads up there, Amogo, with the fuel. Basically, if you start in midfield or towards the front, basically, this is basically only a strategy if you're starting dead last. This only works when we are starting from dead last. If you're not, then yeah, 2 pit stop strategy is probably going to be better, just because, you know, you're already starting ahead of a lot of other cars. So in this case, the only reason why we're adding an extra pit stop, we've done this at quite a few tracks this season, is just because of the fact that we need to make up places. And the easiest way to make up places is to undercut the cars ahead. And we're going to be a lot quicker than, say, the bottom 10 cars. So we burned the first stint, we try and do what we can, we go into the second set, and then we try and undercut everyone from, say, 15th to 5th, if we're lucky. And that way we don't have to overtake them on track, we don't lose a lot of time, and then we can just do 2 regular stints towards the end. So it's a little bit different from what I would, you know, recommend. But it's basically, again, just adjusting your strategy to your situation. That's kind of what we've done here. Is lane title stream's not happening from the pit lane view? Hello, Rens, how you doing? I apologize for not having my pit lane camera set up. Oh, I appreciate that joke. Yeah, your pit lane camera view. Hope you enjoy. Okay, we do need to turn Alonso down to neutral here. And honestly, I should do the same for Sainz. It's just muscle memory at this point when I do the setups to always put these guys to deploy on the energy. I'm doing good as well, Rens. Having a very busy day, unfortunately, so hence no video. Instead, I decided to do a stream. But yeah, apart from that, I am doing good. A little bit tired, but enjoying my evening right now. So yeah, as you can see, Sainz have already caught up to 5 seconds. And that just kind of gives you an idea. We picked our fastest lap from the pit lane. That's actually criminal. That Alonso started from the pit lane and got fastest lap. I didn't even think that was possible, but here we are. We're going to allow Sainz to start deploying now. He is catching up to the cars ahead. Give him a little bit of space there for Alonso. See what we can do. Cool man watching Smoker right now. Who's playing? That was a very wiggly Gasly. But yeah, the DRS is pretty strong around here. I'm looking forward to when we get our second Red Wing finished. Gonna help that issue out a little bit. But yeah, a lot of cars are on soft tires. We aren't actually going to be able to undercut as much as I hoped. All of them are destroying these softs, so this could turn out pretty bad in terms of the undercut strategy. But we'll just have to see if we can what we can do. Sainz gets his first overtake done. Confidence is at its peak again. And honestly, we already need to do a little bit of harvesting. Stroll here with a mechanical failure already. That could be interesting later on. The fact that Sainz pulled off an overtake while harvesting is pretty impressive. But yeah, as these soft runners destroy their tires, we're going to get more and more advantage too. So this is not really that bad yet. Capitals versus Oilers, okay. You can spell Spain without pain. Spain is usually a lot of pain, though. Let's be fair. See if we can get some top-up passes here, because Ocon is outside of DRS. So we should be able to pass him with relative ease here. I think for Alonso we can deploy, just try and get by him before we get to the next DRS zone. And for Sainz here now, put him to neutral and kind of do the same thing. Albon is falling behind, which means that as long as we clear Magnussen, getting Albon should be a piece of cake. Can't spell it without pain. Yeah, that makes more sense. Good job, Sainz. And we have a yellow flag here. We're going to run a little bit top up. Yellow flag immediately vanished. Sargent running wide. And Hauger running wide too. What happened with Alonso here? Did he get blocked by Sargent? Spain is pain. You are correct, really. Really noily. You brought me pain. You jinxed me. And immediately Alonso got punished. That's a bit unfortunate for Alonso, but honestly at this point we just need to do a little bit more harvesting here. Get energy and then make the passes. There's just no way around it. Hamilton is doing good though. He's up in the podium places here. That's what we'd like to see. Don't bother. Okay, I'll just call you Rel if that's acceptable. Is the top feature effective? I never use it. Generally, I use top up if I want to stay in the DRS of the car in front. Or if harvest is just going to end up with me being overtaken. If neither of those things are going to happen, then generally I just prefer to go full harvest. Top up is situationally useful, but again, very rarely for me. I try sometimes with safety car to put medium soft on attack and later a second pit stop hard attack. Do you find this, or do you prefer standard light hard to end of the race? Honestly, you can do that, Georgios. That's perfectly fine. The main thing that decides kind of how I do strategy, however, is just the strategy view here. Because you can go in and say, I have a safety car that has just happened. What would be the best thing I can do from here? I can create different strategies. I can make, say, do something like this. And then I can compare to my current strategy, for instance. This is still going to be quicker, but if you consider the fact that everyone's going to get bunched up behind a safety car, it's probably going to be quicker altogether. So, again, you can take a look. You can see the estimated race times and then make decisions from there. This does say that this one is quicker, but it's not going to be quicker because, again, it doesn't take into account there is a safety car. So, if there was a safety car right now, this would be probably what I would do. But yeah, honestly, you'll sound good too. But take a look at the strategy planner, and it'll make it a little bit easier for you to decide what to do next. Yeah, Alonso here did get a little bit shafted by Sargent's lockup. We'll have to deal with that. Sainz is flying though. He's already basically up into the points, which is very, very good. Optimal, yeah, okay. I didn't put actually the strategy back, so the pit lane is just like, what's going on? There we go. Can you go on a career mode in this game forever, or does it have maximum yet? You can go forever. There was an issue with files getting corrupted if they became too big, Omega, but that has been patched, so you should be able to go on forever now. There will be new gen drivers showing up, new gen staff, so you aren't going to run out of anything like... Excuse me? You aren't going to run out of drivers or anything like that? So in theory, if you really, really want to, yeah, you can play for 100 years or so. I'm a noob, but I don't like running hards at the end of the race. Does that make sense? To be fair, I don't like that either. Hards are generally the slowest tire. So, yeah, I don't like that either, but sometimes you are just forced to do it. But, I try to avoid it when I can, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, well, honestly, because of the fact that there's so many soft runners here, there's no point trying to do an undercut. They're gonna pit before us anyways. We might as well just try and run these hards into the ground and build more of a tire advantage towards the end of the race. I think that's going to be the play here. Because right now we can actually overtake without even recharging the energy. Like, Science and Alonso is going to make short work of all of these soft drivers who've destroyed their tires. So for now, we're just going to stay as we are. Nice, I like that kind of experience. Something similar to Motorsport Manager. Yeah, it is. But this game does get kind of... like, at one point you are going to understand the meta. And that can make the game quite boring. To the point where the database editor is kind of needed to bring back the challenge, if you will. The database editor currently does have a couple of settings that increases the difficulty level. One of them does it to an impossible level where you can't actually win. So be careful with that one, but you do have a lot of freedom. It's boring. That's fair, Spider-Man. We are relaxing a little bit here, so I can understand that you might find it boring. To be fair, we probably should have Alonso get by Ocon and Hulkenberg here, use a little bit of energy. Because the gap forwards is starting to get big. Not love, I said it for the game? Okay. It's perfectly fine too. Not live, I said it for game. Okay. No worries. I get that. It's will always happen, sadly, but you can just adjust the way of playing so it get interesting anyways, yeah. You can do that. You can also, you know, create your own team, put together your own kind of challenge. This game has a lot of things going for it, but it definitely has a bad rep just from how mishandled the previous edition of the series was. Is it the end for the F1 Manager series? Not necessarily. We honestly don't know yet, Spider-Man, because Frontier hasn't actually said anything. They haven't said it's done for. They haven't said it's going to continue. And there was a report that said that Frontier had discontinued an IP. But the thing is, we know that they discontinued the Warhammer stuff. And someone decided to just turn the rumor into that they discontinued F1 Manager. So we have no confirmation. I would think we would have gotten a confirmation at this point if it was discontinued. And honestly, I find it weird that they put it on free on Epic if it was, because the game is actually in a good state right now. I could see putting it on free for Epic being, you know, a good way to advertise this year's game. So I have hopes, but it is understandable from a marketing, from a financial standpoint at the very least, that maybe we're not getting another game, unfortunately. You could say they tackled and failed on a new frontier of gaming. You're not wrong, Hippity. I'm reminded to maybe check out those mods of mine. I'll do it after stream, Impa, I promise. I'll take a look at it once we've done streaming. Hopefully, if there's not a 2025 version one, they can make a 2026 one. That would be nice, but I wouldn't bank on it. I'll be honest. But the modding community is trying to make a 2025 like unofficial DLC thing. Okay, let's get Alonso into pits here. Put him on those medium tires. And we are going to get Science in on this following lap. Put him 2 on those mediums. It does leave us exposed if the safety car comes out at the wrong time. Basically here we will not have anything but softs left. And that could be an issue. But yeah, we can see Verstappen here has destroyed his tires. We can see Hamilton, Tsunoda. Basically all of them had done it. Even Albon has managed to destroy his hards here. But we aren't that far off Verstappen now, which is kind of impressive for Sainz's stint here. It's actually kind of insane that he started in the pits and it's just, well, 5-10 seconds off Verstappen. We will definitely take that. One question that I do need to ask myself is it better to run light? That's actually kind of interesting. So running light or running standard doesn't actually have an effect on the estimated race time. And that means that we should actually run these mediums on light as long as we can keep them at temperature. Because running them at light, it's just going to give us more time towards the end of the stint, and then we can turn them on to full attack then, and that is going to help us out a lot more. So running light, particularly Barcelona and other high deck tracks, is very, very powerful. The stats are going to be stacked. Should always do the first assign with minimal durability, and a few clicks more in the second. Generally, again, sorry, I need to just take a moment here. I did say stats are going to get stacked, but that's for research basically. So research just stacks over and over again. It does do the same thing for design, but in terms of durability is its own independent slider. It doesn't stack with anything. It just affects the performance of the pot. So if you are turning up durability, you will be losing some performance, but that is only on that pot. You're not actually losing. Let me rephrase this. Pot's performance is based on hidden stats, and durability is a slider that does impact this, but you don't actually lose that hidden stat or anything like that. So upping durability is going to lose you some performance in exchange for the pot lasting longer. But it's not going to have any effect on your research. It's not going to have any effect on your designs in terms of how much you gain from each one. That makes sense? So yeah, you can stack research, you can stack designs. Durability doesn't actually have any effect on either of them in terms of the hidden performance gain, how good your team is at making those parts. It just gives you a buff or debuff depending on how light or heavy the part is. Mods saving games as always. That's been the truth for, forever. Mods have been saving gaming since gaming began, I think. I'm always bankrupt at the end of a season. That sounds painful. Chang. Running light replaces sugar with sweetener. There's no negative for future development with having low. Exactly, Mountain. That's what I tried to say. It's not going to affect your future or development or research depending on your durability. I don't know why I'm trying to speak so quickly that I'm stumbling over my own words. Maybe I'm getting a little excited here. Thank you for all the tutorials. I want a season thanks to them. 2026 season, which is easy mode. Hey, you still won. Don't let anyone take that from you. It's still well done. But yeah, right now we're gonna chill. The others are gonna burn the tires a lot quicker than we are. And we're going to be slower here at the beginning of a stint, but we'll get that pace and more back towards the end of it. I am probably tired, Hippity. I've been on my feet all day. I think my videos do a better job of it because I can sit down and think what I want to say before I make those videos, because research is kind of complicated. There's no really good way in-game to explain research. I wish Frontier did a little bit better of a job in terms of tutorials for design and research. That would help out new players quite a bit. But yeah, right now we're just chilling, honestly. Alonso is in a little bit of trouble with Dan and Rick, but I don't think it's a big problem. Nice doing his own thing. We're keeping temperature. We can speed this race up a little bit here. Once we get within DRS here of Alonso, I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of harvesting. Alonso, Albon. Alonso gets into DRS of Albon. Do a little bit of harvesting. Yeah, we are a pit stop. Well, a little bit more than a pit stop behind the lead. This is kind of where we usually are, though, so it's not really that surprising. But we're definitely doing good here. Tutorial is in the Frontier. Found some Reddit posts about your design focuses, and I follow the same for researchers. Is it bad? No. That is perfectly fine. But for research, I would still focus a little bit on what the regulation change is affecting. So if the regulation change is mainly focusing on, say, your cooling, I would put a little bit more emphasis on putting sliders towards cooling to deal with that, because the main benefit research has over design is just that it is far better. It is the best way of dealing with regulation changes. Straight up. So yeah, if you have a -70 to everything, I would just stop designing and just focus on research. However, if you do that, you are going to dominate the 2026 season. So do keep that in mind. F's in the chat for the bottle of Bailey. Rip. Last bottle till Easter. That's gonna be a while. But you will survive, won't you? And come back stronger, Hippity. Easter isn't that far away. A little over a month, isn't it? He'll be fine. Okay, so Alonso is getting followed by Stroll. Kind of want to break away from him. I think we did. So Alonso should be fine right now. Sainz is fine. We can speed time up a little bit. At this point, we're actually looking to be in a very, very good spot. Okay, Alonso here. I'm gonna just have you break free because we're losing time being stuck with Albon. Let's deploy. See if we can get away from him in these corners. The main reason why the car's behind are catching us is because of the DRS, but using a little bit of energy here, gain 3 seconds on Albon, we'll take that. There's something similar with Tsunoda, but it's not time yet. We are just slowly reeling him in due to the tire difference now. Good night, Hippity. Hope you sleep well. Already dominating 2025 season with first and everything but top speed. Yeah, if you do some proper research, then you're definitely going to be at the top in the 2026 season too. Maybe I'm alone in this opinion, but I think this game should have an opinion to make the races much shorter, adjusting, of course, the tire durability and everything, so you can focus the whole race. Honestly, that would be kind of interesting, but I don't think Frontier is going to give that to you, unfortunately, Omega. It would be interesting to have more of an arcade mode. But the thing also with the F1 Manager games is that Frontier doesn't know who they're making these games for. It feels like they are undecided if they want to make it for a more casual audience or a more hardcore audience. So some of the features are, you know, difficult and kind of convoluted, and others are just straight up easy, weird boosts. So kind of weird place. What's the best part to get top speed as well? Chassis, rear wing, and your side pods, most likely. Suspension as well.
And tires are ready. Copy.
That would also help if you can add on online mode. I've been wanting an online mode for a while, but let's face it, I don't think that is something that we are going to be getting. How to go full attack here? We are still going to try and do 2 more stops here. I want to be a little bit cheeky on the strategy. So we are going to deploy here with Sainz, we're going to deploy with Alonso, and we are just going to burn up these mediums. Sainz should be able to get Tsunoda here, I would think. On this lap, we're going to get him on the next, but Sainz just breezes past. I stepped on suspension, I left it at level 2, but I said focus more on XC's researchers. That's fine, honestly. Like, the main thing that is going to make your car quick is its ability to take corners. So if your car is good at cornering, then your car is going to be good at most things in this game. There are some tracks like Austria which really, really favor top speed. But generally, cornering is going to be the way you win races. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. Okay. Optimal pit stop lap. We're still going to do a couple more laps here. Again, the more time you have towards the end, the better. But that is the game that we are going to play. We're going to need a safety car here if we're going to do well, to be fair, but I don't think it's going to matter too much for us right now. One more lap for Alonso, then we're going to pit him, and we will also pit Sainz here in 2 laps time. Alonso will be coming in on this next one. And Verstappen has already re-overtaken us. He's gone onto a hard tyre there. He's not going to be on that hard tyre till the end. He's going to need another stop as well. So this could still get very, very interesting. Okay, Alonso, you should be coming in now, and Sainz will be coming in on the next lap. Top speed is mostly 5 to 10 most of the time, cornering on first and second, and it's usually the fastest, yeah. Cornering it has always been the fastest, the way to get your car wins in this game. Austria, the only map I didn't have 2 podiums. Well, Austria is a like classic top speed power track. Loads of high speed corners, loads of you know, just straights. So not too surprising that we need top speed there. Top speed acceleration. So far, I think it's looking very, very good. Sainz come out in a lot of free air here. 8 seconds up to Russell. Also kind of in the same situation, but further down the road. Hauger now with a mechanical fault. Actually, very few mechanical faults here compared to Canada. But yeah, Russell needs to pit, Show needs to pit, Tsunoda needs to pit, and I'm pretty sure we'll jump all 3. Yeah, we will. We might actually jump Hamilton too, funnily enough. With Sainz. It's going to depend on how much longer he stays out, but if he does 1 or 2 more laps, we will probably jump him, I would think. So as you can see here, we did a 1:17.7, and we're still a little bit cold on the tires. Hamilton did a 19.8, so we're already a second quicker. Same here with Tsunoda. Considering the pit stops were about 21 seconds. Yeah, we are within his pit window now. For Alonso, it's going to be a little bit rougher. Basically, Tsunoda, we might get Tsunoda here. No, we're not. He's pitting just now. If he did 1 more lap, we would be good. But for Sainz, it's looking very, very promising. Which part of Stroll's powertrain has issues? Let's take a quick look here. So for Stroll, it's his gearbox. That's generally going to make him very slow. Hauger and Gasly are the other 2 that are struggling. For Hauger, it is his ERS. Funny thing is, the ERS, even if it fully explodes, doesn't actually lead to a DNF. So you can actually finish the race without a functioning ERS. And Gasly also has gearbox issues. So those 2 could DNF if we're unlucky. But Stroll here could also end up causing a safety car. As you can see, Alonso almost got Tsunoda there. So if Tsunoda pitted slightly later, Alonso would have got him. But as Tsunoda just come out on cold tires, we're going to go ahead and deploy a little bit. Try and get that overtake done. He went to hard tires. Okay. Tsunoda is most likely going to stay on those tires till the end if he takes care of them. But he's going to be really slow by then. Like, insanely slow. Hamilton is now truly and well overtaken by Sainz, which puts us in 6th place at the moment. Not bad. Yeah, at this point, I think we can chill a little bit again. Gap between Alonso and Sainz is 16 seconds. We're actually driving a train here. I kind of need Alonso to break free of these guys because I don't want to pull them along if I can avoid it. Pulling just Tsunoda along is actually better than pulling them all. So we're actually going to just turn Alonso to harvest here. He should be able to keep his position simply because he is fairly quick still. So that should be good. Hamilton's actually pitted too. He's come out on a medium. We might be the only cars that still need to pit, but I think we can make up the pit stop. Gasly's fault has escalated as well, so we have 2 cars now that can give us a safety car. And honestly, we kind of want one. I'm not going to lie. That was Sainz flying by him. And they officially discontinued the game. I do want to know an interview of the fallout and what features were cut and what was their plan. I would like to hear that too, because again, when they released the games, there was like they made so many on their Twitch streams. They said that, oh, we have a dedicated team that understands F1, And then they released a game that didn't have, you know, differences in tire between soft, medium, and hards with 22. So, yeah, there is some questionable things going on there, for sure. But I don't know if it was just a time crunch. I honestly think it's probably just a time crunch. They ran out of time. They didn't get everything they wanted sorted, and unfortunately, we kind of paid the price for it. I'm gonna go play some F1 Manage myself. Bye. Hope you have fun, Harry. See you next time, hopefully. Enjoy the game. Okay. I think we are gonna just speed things along here a little bit. Because at this point, there isn't much we can do. We're just, again, managing tires. Then we'll try and make something happen towards the end. When we do pit science, he is going to come out somewhere in our show. And Alonso is most likely going to end up getting lapped. That's not great. Although, to be fair, he actually needs to pit, which he did. But Norris was basically right next to him, so it's not going to matter much. Okay, Alonso, I need you to just go a little wild right now. I need you to pull as far away as you can from Norris, hopefully. And hopefully not get a lap when you end up pitting, because that would be kind of bad. $16.9. Very similar to Norris. We're going to add in a little bit of deploy here, because we are probably going to do 1 to 2 more laps there, and then we're pitting. Probably similar head for science. Well, 3 laps of science, basically. I'll have a lot of soft left over for him. I believe we are getting DRS here also off the... yeah. Off the Alpine. We'll take that. And on this next lap here, we are going to be pitting Alonso. And we'll give Sainz 2 more laps to kind of do the same thing. Like so. Doing it correctly, one screen F1, one screen Nero, thank you. Currently on Belgium with McLaren, I'm following your strats for the races, doing pretty well with Norris. That's good to hear, Rips. I'm glad it's helpful. Do I have a video about min-max pit stop times? I do have a video that goes over the pit crew, but it basically just boils down to gym training and having a good sporting director. It's going to take you a couple of seasons. Because, well, when the pit crew first was released, it took like a season to get it maxed in everything. So I nerfed it a little bit, so it's going to take a couple of seasons to reach max, but it's just gym training. Gym training and managing fatigue. Okay, Alonso stop here. Very clean. Comes out in 11th place. 12 laps to go, which means that we just barely are surviving without getting lapped here. Which was also kind of what we were hoping for. So Alonso will now have very much a huge tire advantage over everyone. And we're actually pitting right next to the Red Bull here. That is actually kind of insane. Verstappen and Piastri both also went for soft tires. We did not beat Perez out, which is fair. Like, no way we beat the Red Bull pit crew with kick in the first season. That would be sacrilege. Russell overtaking us, though, is actually a different kind of sacrilege. It's a slow you down kind of thing. I'm not a fan. Still, at this point, we still just need to manage. Also, do affiliates like Behrman, Antonelli, what's the best training for them to make them main drivers? Well, you need to have them on the training development, for sure. Cornering, braking. Let's go over the, quickly go over the driver stats here. So basically, accuracy is not super important, but braking and cornering are both huge. Consistency and reaction is also important. Accuracy kind of just makes sure that they do the same lap over and over without losing time. Consistency is also great, as mentioned, but yeah. In terms of just pure pace, braking is going to be your most important stat. Cornering is going to be your second most important stat. And of course, smoothness is going to be huge as well. What team do I support IRL? Well, I do floppy around a lot. when Alonso went to Aston and almost pulled off a win. I was kind of hoping that they would be able to pull off a bit of Aston fanboying that year. I've been fanboying a bit for Piastri this year and McLaren. Shame that they couldn't pull it all the way. And honestly, this year, I think I'm gonna be more of a Hamilton fan with Ferrari. That is honestly what I am feeling. So yeah, I'm gonna flip-flop around a lot. I'm just looking for good racing. I'm gonna have to be honest. But I think Antonelli will win a race in 2025. I don't know. He does seem like the type to kind of just go full send. So I'm not gonna count him out completely. But with Ferrari, Red Bull, McLaren being as good as they are, I think he's going to have a tough time of it. He's going to need some luck to get a win. I can see him maybe landing a podium, but a win is going to, I think, be a tough ask in his first full season. Do I have any other games I think I'm playing? I am going to be playing Monster Hunter Wilds when it comes out next Friday. I've been playing the Monster Hunter series for a long time. I do check out different indie games here and there. I'm actually currently editing a video on astronomics. I'm thinking of releasing tomorrow because it is a interesting little indie game that is in early access. Apart from that, I've been thinking about picking up Door Kickers 2. So there's a bunch of interesting games out there that I would like to play. Maybe not. Maybe I'm not going to share them all on the channel, but I share the ones that I enjoy, like Farming Sim. It wasn't well received here, let's be honest, but I still enjoy that game. But I think I just need to focus on actually making, what I usually make for the most part. Okay, we are getting to the end here. I think we go back up to standard, and very soon we're going to go up to full attack. Also here, it's not going to get a very good result. We aren't going to have a good time here. It's just not in the cards. There's a lapse times. We are 15.9. We're still pretty quick compared to a lot of other cars here. I think we can snatch Piastri's fastest lap too. So we are still just going to manage for a couple more laps. In what year did I start watching F1? It is a few years ago now. 2017, I believe. 2018. When I grew up, I was mostly into football, as I played a lot of football. But as I grew older, racing games and following racing became more interesting to me. I'm a Ferrari fan and feel Russell's win the first race just because it's pathetic. This game doesn't like more than half the rookies. Yeah, this game doesn't really like any of the rookies, let's be honest. You're not wrong on that. Hauge retired at 77 at age 24. Yeah, some of the retirements are pretty wild. Sorry if I mentioned it, but what does adaptability and accuracy does? So, accuracy just helps the driver drive within the track limits, basically. It makes them be more consistent, going around the track. Basically, turning into corners properly, things like that. It just kind of helps being a decent driver. Is what it does. Adaptability has to do with being on the wrong tire for the occasion. So basically, adaptability will help you stay quick if you stay on still running a soft tire when it's damp out. And it will also help you if, say, you're running an inter on a dry track or you're running an inter on a fully wet track. Basically, it just adaptability helps you out if you're running the wrong tire for the occasion, if that makes sense. So that is what it mainly does. We are actually going to have Sainz here try and grab fastest lap. So there's a couple of cars in front here. I think they might actually help him by giving him DRS on the main straight. I believe there is a back marker involved here. There is. A couple, actually. So fastest lap here starts off well with a DRS down the main straight. Curious what kind of sector times we're going to get here, because we've already caught up to Paris and Hamilton a little bit further up the road. Purple first sector. With the DRS here from Paris, we're probably going to get purple second sector too. We are. He is holding us up a little bit here, so we'll have to see if we get a purple third sector as well. And no, just a green one, but it is fastest lap. And Sainz should have no problems now chasing down Hamilton for 5th place. But yeah, we're not getting anything better than that, unfortunately. So at this point, we're going to turn him back down to light and we're going to harvest a little bit. Because there's no point burning the tires there if we can't get away from Hamilton. Alonso can kind of just chill. Honestly, in the same manner, we don't need to push him. He's 4 seconds ahead of Tsunoda. He's not catching Perez and Sainz here. Well, to be fair, Hamilton got away. So we do need to chase him down again. But I think we'll have the best engine in 2026.
Being crashed out.
That's a good question, honestly. Let's see who crashed. Charles. Ferrari and Ferrari violence. Oh no. He's slapping his teammate and then his teammate just stops on the line there. That's not what we want to see. That's actually a pretty bad one. Yeah, I don't know who will have the best engine. Red Bull is doing something new, so I don't think they will have the best one. I think it would be incredibly optimistic to think that they will have just, nail the engine regulations immediately. Mercedes and Ferrari engines have generally been fairly decent. Mercedes probably is edging out a little bit of a gap there. But they've also had a lot of their engineers, snatched by other teams. So, I don't know. Ferrari's kind of hit or miss. I kind of want to say it's going to be Mercedes, honestly. Kind of makes crossovers more forgiving as well. It's pace while conditions change rapidly. Yeah, you're not wrong. Adaptability does help out quite a lot for that. Antonelli's insane at 19 years, 97 cornering, 93 accuracy, 90 everything else. Yeah, they really made Antonelli to like a proper wonder kid in this game. He's actually the definition of a wonder kid if you ever play Football Manager. Okay, let's deploy. We're far enough ahead of Paris here that it should be fine. This is the start of the final lap for us. This is going to be pretty bad with terms of just how quick McLaren have been. Not a great Barcelona GP for us, but we'll take it. Question is just now, can we actually hold off Paris? Landon Norris has won. Piastri comes second. Leclerc holds out for third. Verstappen picks up fourth, and we have held off Paris. That went fairly well. As you can see, the soft tires get eaten up incredibly quick around here. And yeah, we're almost a minute and 40 seconds behind McLaren. It's going to be painful because I'm pretty sure it's Austria next, unless I'm mistaken.
Some pickup, please. Okay, that's
Honda keeps saying how behind they are. Suspicious. It would be funny if they are sandbagging, though. I'll give you that, Justin. I mean, since 2015, sad this year was off. Yeah, I still have a Brighton save going. I think I'm in 2040. I just find it very satisfying to find young talent in FM and race them. Kind of a shame you can't really do that in this game, because I enjoy that immensely. So we're 100 points now, basically behind Norris. This race was not a good one, and McLaren increased the gap here quite substantially. We're going to need some good results after summer break, for sure, to keep this competitive. I thought Red Bull was going to be the big bad, but clearly I underestimated McLaren. Porsche is also down good, like a beast, yeah. You're not wrong on that one either. Okay, we need to make a chassis design. We need 2 more of these. And then we'll have to decide if we're going to start doing some research. Basically, we need to take a look and see if we think we can complete this year, or if we need to do it next year. I'm going to keep that last slot open because financially we're still kind of in trouble. So let's not mess with that. We do have an ATR period, however. This is generally the ATR period I would put into the underfloor. No, not the underfloor. Alright. This is generally the ATR period that I would use to put into the front wing again for research. But I'm just going to check, because I don't remember, what is current regulation change. So cooling and airflow, also known as cooling and cornering. Tire preservation as well. Yeah, this regulation change is actually going to be kind of nasty. It's going to affect our cornering quite a bit. It's going to affect our cooling for both tires and engines. So we might need to do some research, but at the same time, I'm kind of feeling that we do need to put safety time into, say, the side pods or the chassis in order to be competitive. Kind of tempted to do that, so we'll leave things as they are for now. We do need to replace some parts here. As I mentioned, the chassis luckily only failed for one of the cars. But we do need to deal with the issues at hand. And I think we'll actually be just about fine here going into Austria. I don't think we're going to have to emergency manufacture anything. But it's still not amazing. I'm going to make that absolutely clear. We'll have 8 days until we go to Silverstone. We are going to need a new chassis next race. I can almost guarantee it. So let's go ahead and manufacture one. And in terms of what we need here, the rear wing replacement is something I would love to have here. It's the high-speed track. But it would require us to emergency manufacture one. And I don't think that's going to be worth it. Zanelli's contract is also ending here. And basically I've just kept the this open. Because I was unsure if we wanted to keep him or if we wanted to replace him. And honestly, I think we are going to replace him here with Tondi. And it's going to cost us 1.6 million. We don't have a huge amount of money. We could go for our next season contract, to be fair. But I would like to have him this season to just be a mental boost for my drivers. So we'll do this. Give him 4 million a year, 5 seasons. We'll pay that 1.6 million that we need to poach him. And I think that will be acceptable. I wouldn't really want to weaken Ferrari at the moment. I would love to weaken a different team. But you can't always get what you want, unfortunately. Rochelle lost a 40-point lead in the championship. Might say it's final race because of double points. That's painful. The only problem with these good rookies is if you don't pick it up with the AI and ignore them. Yeah, that's really painful too. You're not wrong. That also makes it kind of hard to race good rookies because the AI just will not do their part. Okay, suspension and side pods are available. Still need to make a decision if we want to buy an emergency one. How much that's going to cost me? Over $1 million. Yeah, no way we're doing that. I'm going to make a couple, but I'm just going to make them normally, so I have them by Silverstone. And we're just going to have to run the old spec here. It is just how life is at the moment. I shouldn't make the new spec, but to be fair, the gain is very small, so I don't think it's going to have any huge effect. Let's also go ahead and just get another front wing sorted. Okay. That's going to be painful for Alonso, but it's honestly what we're going to have to do here to remain somewhat competitive. And we still need to put some better parts on the car, which is why I'm keeping the period open so we can maybe invest it into designing a better piece here. But yeah, we are ready to head into the next race weekend. I do kind of want to do another facility here. We'll be 1.8 to max this. Yeah, we don't have the money. We'll keep things as it is for the time being, and this is probably going to be the last race I do tonight. And as you can see, we're expected to finish dead last with Alonso because of his absolutely terrible rear wing.
Welcome along to the spectacle.
Hello Furkan, how you doing? But yeah, I think this is also... Generally for sprints, I don't bother switching components. And I am going to simulate the practice session. Like so. I'm doing good, a little bit tired, but I'm generally feeling pretty good. I can't complain. It's nice to be able to stream a little bit more again, honestly. we're just going to do this. And the reason for this is actually pretty simple. By doing this, we'll figure out where the settings actually need to be for the race itself. And we're starting from pit anyway, so we have actually a lot of chances to change up our setup here if it's terrible. So there's no reason not to just do it like this. Okay, we're starting sprint qualifying. We are just gonna do what we usually do.
I'm green.
Take manual control, make sure we qualify last. And then we'll get everything sorted for the sprint itself. Give me a second, I'm just going to open a window. It's starting to get pretty hot in here. Let me know if a lot of the noise from outside comes through the mic, and I'll just go ahead and close the window again, worst case scenario. Okay, let's see how we got things sorted in terms of the setup. Red Bull are doing good here, which is kind of what we expected. How is our setup looking? Are we getting rain in the sprint? We're getting rain for both weekends. Okay. Oh, sorry, both days. That's a yikes. It is going to be a rainy sprint. Okay. We failed to set up massively, but as I mentioned here, we kind of know where we need to go. If you don't want to start from pit lane, you basically fix this after the sprint, but we do not care, so we'll just do it right now. And just like that, should be pretty much acceptable here. And again, we can change it again after the sprint, so I am not too worried if I mess it up. And we do one gamble like that. Pit lane stuff for both our boys here, and honestly, with the rain, I'm going to go ahead and underfuel one lap. Generally, I don't like to underfuel before sprints because it's a little bit harder to gas. But with it being rainy, that makes it a little bit more viable. I do need to take a look and see what the actual expectations are. Yeah, in terms of the weather, but I think we just go full attack the entire thing. Yeah, it's going to be basically 1.3 millimeter for the entire thing here. Maybe 1.2, 1.1 for some of it. If we overheat these inters, we're going to go back down to aggressive, but if we do not, we could also try and be extra cheeky here and just do something like this. Run them light. But yeah. It's kind of hard to say. I think just running full attack and trying to make up as many places as possible is going to be the correct call. Isn't it like 0 degrees in Norway? Minus 15 here. We actually had some rain today, so we're getting hit by a... I don't really want to call it a heat wave, but it's basically what it is. Usually we have some pretty cold temperatures. Minus 10, minus 20-ish this time of year. So, yeah, it's kind of bad. I hate the fact that it's raining when it's supposed to be snowing, because the only thing that you get from this is a super slippery... Everything is just super slippery. And it just keeps on getting more and more layers of ice, which just makes it painful to drive anywhere. Black market eating a sprint race. Sprint pit lane isn't the worst thing. Now, we're just going to do this. I think we'll take a look and see how it works out. Worst case scenario, we'll back off. 5 degrees in Greece. I would expect it to be warmer down there, honestly, Georgos. She's some ice, yeah. We get what's called black ice, which is basically ice you can't see. And it's insanely slippery. But it's my job. I work as a teacher. Okay, we're just gonna really chill here, catch up to the rest of the grid. And honestly, I think we can just run balance there. And Alonso is just like, you should have given me the rear wing. I was the chosen one. That's kind of insane that Alonso just immediately sends it to on Sainz there.
Date on track condition if you can.
It might actually get into the Borderlands in terms of if it should be Inters or not. That will make things a little bit spicier. I wish I could have a teacher playing F1 Manager. Maybe your teacher does, and you just don't know, Firkin. That would be a plot twist. I'm pretty sure none of my students know that I play games for the most part. Well, some of them do, but most of them have no interest in it. Okay, we made one pass. We need like 12 more to score points. The fact that we already have cars kind of falling behind is worrisome, and the temperature here going as high as it is isn't giving me good vibes. It's putting me into a worried situation here, but we might actually end up overheating these tires. Sainz gets Stroll, that's what we love to see. Put him on top of while he's behind Alonso here. Never mind, he's back to deploy. Track is now dry, so this is kind of what we are worried about, that it's going to be switching back and forth a lot. And also this is actually going to enable DRS, so yeah, this is going to make life a lot harder. We're actually going to have to run standard here so we don't absolutely destroy these tires, because depending on how dry it gets, our Inters are going to get absolutely shredded. Hello, Ocon. I think we are going to overtake you with the power of DRS. Never mind, you just flew away. Magnussen got back on Sainz, and I guess that is the gearbox. Yeah, the gearbox is experiencing some temporary acceleration issues. I think we should change out the gearbox and also the engine before the race itself. And I probably have to. Shouldn't be a huge deal. This is a very interesting race sprint we got going on here. It's going to be probably DRS for most of it, which means that managing the Inters is going to be more important than pushing them. So, yeah, this is going to be kind of weird. I think we can run aggressive to protect ourselves and catch up to cars ahead. But this is still gonna suck, particularly for Sainz. He's kind of out of it already. Do you have DRS still? No, you don't. Sainz is kind of out of it already because this is a this is an engine-heavy track, top-speed-heavy track, and we're losing a lot of acceleration right now. What will happen first? Lance Stroll drop from Aston or Red Bull change their livery? Good question. I would assume a lot of teams are going to change the livery for 2026. And Lance Stroll might very well be changed for 2026. So you might actually get both things happen at the same time. Does yellow parts with no faults cost time like previous games? Yes, the lower the durability of a part, you do lose a little bit of time. So running a engine at 50%, for instance, is going to be slower than a 100% engine. But it's not going to be a huge amount, like a 10 or 2 maybe over the course, like each lap. And to be fair, it's not cost effective to run an 70 or high % engine for the entire season. So you are going to have some races where the engine is slow. You can kind of game this a little bit by checking how the AI's components are looking and try and pick a fresh engine when theirs are getting to 60, 50%, that sort of thing. But yeah, the condition does have an effect on their performance. It's very minor. I wouldn't worry too much about it. And it does also have an effect that a low condition just have a higher chance of picking up faults. So there's 2 reasons why it's kind of bad, but at the same time. Not really a lot you can do about it. As a Verstappen fan, I think Red Bull needs to take the V-Carb livery. To be fair, Red Bull had a similar livery in Turkey, I believe. So 2020. So I think V-Carb stole Red Bull's livery. I think it's the other way around. What subjects do I teach? I teach a lot of different subjects: Norwegian, English, math. It's called social studies, social sciences. Basically, I teach a little bit of everything. I started out as a substitute teacher, found out I kind of liked it, and then got a teaching degree with quite a few extra areas, so to speak. I even had a couple of years of psychology, so I'm kind of overqualified for what I do. Let's just put it like that. But yeah, I'm enjoying it, so I can't really complain. I was 21, yeah. Yeah, Honda is a funny gang. They just leave for a couple of years, then come back. Win, leave for a couple of years, come back. So that is their cycle. You're not wrong. Okay. We're getting halfway to the sprint now. Alonso's moving forwards. There's the tires we're using kind of very similar to the cars around us. I wouldn't worry too much about it. But we are going to basically harvest and then overtake, and then harvest overtake. It's the only way to make progress here in the wet. That livery was great. I was very lucky to see it on track. Yeah, I envy you for that one. I have to be honest. I envy you for that one. There's no F1 tracks nearby Norway, and because I live so far north in Norway, I need to, fly to a central airport whenever I want to fly anywhere, and it makes it a lot more expensive to travel anywhere, really. Which is a bit of a shame. Let's do a little bit more harvesting here up towards the corner. And then we shall try and pass the Haas. Just like that. And since we now have free air, we'll go full attack. We need to make up 3 more places here. 4 seconds as well. And honestly, I'm kind of putting Sainz on the back burner here. I'm not really focusing on him. And that's because I believe that with the fault that he has, he's not going to be competitive. There's no way around that. He just doesn't have acceleration even with energy. You can kind of see it there. We're struggling to overtake in Alpine. It's very sad they stopped racing in Istanbul. Yeah. To be fair, I thought the Turkey track was decent. I enjoyed it. Okay, 10 laps to go here. Just gonna speed things up a little bit to give you a better idea where we stand. I don't know what happened to Verstappen, but he's struggling. He's down into 7th. This is not what we usually see from Verstappen in the rain. Should we just see him choo-choo train to the front? At least we can still beat a Williams. And also send him to the Shadow Realm by pushing him off. That's something that's really, really bad in this game with Austria. It's very easy to push other cars off. And you can ruin races very, very easily here. I prefer the V8s to Turkey a lot more than these cars. I'm gonna have to be honest, I prefer the cars that give better racing. Like, I felt last year it was a lot more interesting to watch because they could follow each other for a lot longer. Oh, Hauge ran wide? Hauge with more damage. Okay. Mechanical fault is evolving.
And as far as we can tell, they've got a fault with the car.
Thank you for enlightening me what the fault was, which is why I clicked that. Okay, so it's the ERS, so even if he explodes, he'll be fine. Which sounds like a very silly thing to say, but in this case it is factually correct. Yeah. It's going to be difficult to score points. It's 6 laps remaining, never mind. Tsunoda decided to help me by crashing out.
Dash positive. Copy.
I really do curse the opponents with my speech every now and again. It's kind of silly. Spun himself into the wall. Generally, under virtual safety cars, things like that, you don't really need to change your settings. The drivers will kind of manage it for you. Okay, so 2 seconds up to show. Another 2 seconds up to Hamilton. 4 laps maybe, 5 laps maybe after virtual safety car. Did I edit to Sainz and Alonso? I signed them normally. The way the game works is that any driver that has just 1 year left on their contract, you can just straight up sign with any team. So in the first season, both Alonso and Sainz only has 1 year left on their contracts. So as long as you give them as much money as they want, you can sign them. So this is the first season, and we signed both of them basically immediately. So you can do that. It's not anything special or anything like that. It's just that they had 1 year left, and when they have 1 year left, they are very... They will accept a contract from anyone. Either Istanbul may come back as a 2026 Dutch GP replacement. I like Zandvoort. I don't know how I would feel about that one. I'm gonna have to be honest. I think I prefer Zandvoort. My Merc always abandoned this game. I think the developers just hate Mercedes. I think we've already had this discussion in every game, Eric. The developers don't seem to like Mercedes much. Which is kind of funny, because they do seem to love VCarb. Or the Racing Bulls. In this case, we know they crashed out, but they generally seem to do well in my saves. The cars back then were nimble and were raceable. Yeah, you're not wrong. Come on. That is 1 point to minimize damage, but Piastri and Norris 1-2, it would, you know, we're not making a dent into the damage at all. Let's see it now with 2 laps remaining if we can chase down Hamilton. Probably going to start deploying right around now. See if we can catch him. We can. Then we just deploy in the next lap in order to hopefully get by him. Or are you just gonna shove him off the track? Yes, you are. And are we gonna get shoved in return? No, we're not. Fire severely overheating. That's not a problem on the final lap of the race here. That's actually perfectly okay. Deploy to protect ourselves, and just like that, I think we might have secured a couple more points at probably the track we were expected to be worse at this season. Now we'll have to see if we can do the same during the actual race.
Okay, that's the checkered flag.
Bono always goes to Red Bull Ferrari my save, and GP to Ferrari. To be fair, I feel like the AI should be better at retaining staff, particularly when they are, you know, peak. So that's also pretty common in every save, Eric. It's very unfortunate.
Nicely done.
It was a nightmare surviving the first season 23 game with Merc. Yeah, they had high expectations, and it did make it very, very challenging. Do I prefer Mercedes engine over others, or is it situational? The main benefit that the Mercedes engine gives you is just durability. So if you have high engine cooling, there's nothing wrong with choosing Ferrari or even the Honda engine. Basically, again, Mercedes is just durability. It's pretty good for that. And it's better than Renault, so if you can handle it, if you have the finances to buy extra engines with Honda, go for it. If you have the cooling to
We're moving on now.
go with Honda engines, do that, and you'll be perfectly fine. If I can remain competitive, my save. It's Red Bull and Ferrari before I took them over. Red Bull has been the worst team. That's insane, honestly. Poaching system is so unrealistic. Well, to be fair, initially the AI would just poach everyone, everywhere. So they did kind of change it a little bit to try and make it more realistic, to put in some limits on the AI. But yeah, they're still kind of wild with how aggressively they poach. You're not wrong. Okay, let's see here now what we can do in terms of getting a little bit of a better setup before we go into quali. We have replaced both the engine and gearbox for Sainz, and for Alonso here, we probably should consider doing the same thing. To be fair, he already has destroyed one gearbox and one engine, so we could relegate this one to a practice only, give him a little bit extra oomph around here. But I think we'll just do the gearbox here now, and honestly, we're not even going to do that. We'll let him run this setup for at least a couple more races, I think, because remember. The funny thing is, Alonso isn't the main culprit. It was first show that crashed. And then we had the Osama bin Russell big incident last time around. So I can't even blame Alonso for the problems here.
And green.
The problem also with when the AI was poaching, like, you know, Mad Men, they didn't actually pay the contract buyout clause, so there was a reason why they were doing it. Money wasn't actually a concern. You didn't actually get paid if they poached your drivers and staff. But I believe they've fixed that now, at least. I said Red Bull stole both Ferrari's race engineers. The funny thing is that you should mention that is that I snatched GP and I also snatched Sainz with race engineer from Ferrari. They replaced both of them with 49 rated ones, so I feel that might be a bug in the game, Furkan, to be fair. I'm pretty sure they aren't supposed to do that. That's actually been the only big team to actually be competitive in a while. Even McLaren's like, what year are you in, Justin? Out of curiosity, what year are you in? In your save. Because that probably does have an effect on how competitive the different teams are. One is just taking forever. Apologies, everyone. Just like that, we continue the tradition of finishing last. 2030 or 2031, yeah. I can imagine every team might get flipped at that point, to be fair. So that makes a lot more sense then. Yeah, I was just curious how far along he was getting, Furkan. Okay, we are getting rain here, and oh my god, this is actually going to be painful. It's supposed to start raining around lap 15 or so. 15 to 20 here, and then it's just going to slowly increase until we hit the Inter timeline. It's suggesting we start on the hard tire. I might not be against starting on the hard tire, honestly. But I might try and do something cheeky-breaky. Oh, I need to remove this one. Try doing something like this, maybe, with the hards. Just push. Because again, we're starting at the back. We can do an extra stint just because of that. It expected it to be lap 40. So it would be something like this. Be about 10 seconds quicker than just doing the one thing. Okay, what if we do a couple of light soft stints instead? How is that looking in terms of pace? Because remember, light soft stints are actually really basically a better hard tire. You need to put this to full attack if we want to compare. Okay, so double the hard is still going to be quicker, but the soft tire gives us more maneuverability. And honestly, this is going to be hard to judge because look at this. It's just slowly increasing. That was a greater team until last season I decided to say Ferrari. That's actually base though. To leave your creative team after, what, 6-7 seasons? To save save the red team. Honestly, I don't know how to read this because, again, in theory, the yellow line, blue line, kind of be what you would expect going to wets. It's kind of how the AI calculates it. But this could literally be wets lap 30. Or, not wets, inters. It's very likely that it's inter lap 30, 25 to 30. This might also be like just on the limit like it was in the sprint. I kind of want to push hards here. Be aggressive, try and make something happen. But this could also just work just the same. That's the thing. I think we run a light soft stint because if we need to jump on the inters lap 25, we can. And again, I don't know how I want to judge this because here it's lap 33. So we'll do alternate strategies. We'll put hards on for Alonso. And okay, it doesn't actually have two sets here for this. We'll do something like this for Alonso. He was expected lap 33. And then we'll take a look. Because this one is actually insanely hard to judge because they still haven't just done the very simple thing here and add like a, 1 millimeter marking right here, 2 millimeters, 3 millimeters, 4 millimeters, so you can actually get a expectation. This can be completely different. Like something that would be up here can be 5 millimeters in one game and then it'll be 8 in the next. So consistency is lacking, and I would like to see some in the future. But we'll try something a little bit different here. I think it can work. And if it doesn't, shame. We don't really lose much. It is our worst track. This is going to be the worst track of the season. It always is. So I'm perfectly fine with things not going our way here. I can live with that. Let's do that small adjustment, and for Alonso, one tiny wiggle to the right will do the trick. So yeah, we're ready to start in the pit lane. See if we have any ideas here. Thank you very much, Furkan. Sorry. Welcome to Big Crew. Appreciate it. Appreciate it a lot, actually. Take that. Thank you. Max left Red Bull in 26. Oh, that's painful. What is my favorite track? Mine is Spa, Vegas, and, well, Istanbul. To be fair, my favorite track, I've said this before, is probably Sandboard. It's one of the... It's basically because I enjoy driving it, which is why I'm kind of, not happy about the prospect of it being removed. So, apologies for that one. Again, appreciate the membership there. Thank you. But let's jump into this race, see what we can do. I do also enjoy Spa, though. I'm not gonna lie, Spa is a good one.
Fans in attendance are absolutely... It's the race we've all been waiting for. It's the Austrian Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
Okay. So Alonso is actually starting ahead this time. That's good. It's because I changed signs first, maybe. Or the qualifying order. One or the other. Is Sainz going to just full send it here? No, he isn't. At least he's decent enough to not do that. But yeah, we'll just speed up here. Allow Alonso to catch up to Magnussen. And then we'll try moving forwards. Whether he is going to make this a really, really spicy one. because I have no clue what's going to happen here. Sainz actually just overtook Alonso with the light soft versus because of DRS. Yeah, DRS, very, very powerful. Sainz just flies off again. Yeah, I think the two light softs there might actually just do the trick better than a hard tire. Track's not racing. Monaco, Spa, and Singapore. Yeah, it's kind of hard to pass. You're not wrong. But I still like Spa. It's still a fun one, I feel. Might not get as many overtakes as you like to see, but I still feel like it's a good track. Okay, so hard tires for basically everyone here. That is kind of interesting. And we're actually not gaining on them because they're all pushing. Well, Sergeant spun. That's more like a law of nature than anything else. I don't know why, but the F1 Manager games have to have one driver that they bully. It's been Latifi, it's been Schumacher, and now it's Sargent's turn. It's just the law of the land, I think. I think Spa is very good because of the strategic options. That makes sense. To be fair, Spa is one of those fun tracks though because the pit lane is so short. You don't really lose a lot of time. Wait, have we always had a millimeter of rain on the track? We have 0.01 millimeters of water on here. I don't think I've seen this before. It must have been there since the race started even, and I just didn't notice it. Yellow flag, Hulkenberg and Hauger has had a moment here.
Watch out from there, please.
I believe. I don't know if Danny Rick was involved or if that is all damage, but I would think it's all damage. Someone spilled their beer onto the track. Well, if it's just 0.01 millimeters, I... Okay, that's a funny reaction. Yeah, it's a 24 feature, just like no weather. I think we just overtook under yellows, but maybe not that sector was affected. I think we're fine. I'm just gonna check what's up with Danny Rick's car. Okay, it's this engine, so that is fine. Also, it's moving forwards rather aggressively here, and we'll definitely take that. Tsunoda is the next target on the chopping block. Just like so. And for Sainz there, honestly, what's going to happen is that he's going to start getting more overtakes the closer we get to lap 20. That's at least going to be the hope. If he can't make it now, I'm going to give him DRS. Energy, sorry. But he did get the move done, so we're fine. And honestly, we are just going to push. Just like that. Getting Albon. We're actually already back up in the points, but I think the rest are just going to stay out on those hards. So we need to make up a lot of time here. George Russell sweat. Oh, no. Oh. Why must you curse this day in such a way, Eric? Oh, that reminds me. What? There's a guy that makes like animated recaps of Formula 1 weekends. I think it's Lollipop something. That is pretty amazing. Just reminds me of one of his like animations. Like he straight up has George Russell with a like six-pack and the suit open, and it's kind of funny. Paris and Leclerc, what have you boys been up to?
Maybe some debris at 11, 12.
I think it's just leftover water from quali, Justin, if I'm honest. Okay. We love that crash. Okay, sneak by. Good. Now sneak by the next one. And we're going to also give Science a little bit of push here. Can I show the championship, please? Yeah, we can take a quick look at that. So, current standings with if the results stay as they are, we are 6th and 7th, a good 100 points behind Norris. And in terms of constructors, McLaren is actually beating Red Bull handily, and we are a good 200 points behind. So we have a little bit of work ahead of us here. Just a tiny smidge of work that needs to be done. So many cars here being in the way. But we are starting to flow forwards here right now, so everything is looking a little bit better. Degradation is lower on these halls than anticipated. And I think actually degradation is higher on the soft than anticipated, so we might actually go for hard set for Science once we pit him. In terms of the rain, it is still looking to be far out here. It's actually moving further away, which is actually kind of positive for us. Light rain in 11 minutes, that's when it's going to start. As Show gets back his place here. Another yellow flag. Is that a crash or... That's a long yellow flag. It's just Magnussen spinning. Okay. Magnussen showing off his new trick. Gonna deploy a little bit here because we're just losing time fighting the cars behind. And I would prefer for Alonso here to just break completely free of the other cars if possible. I don't think we have enough energy to pull this off, and honestly we do not. We at least created a little bit of a gap while chasing down Russell. The grip and rubber is bugged. I think they are not going up. Rubber is supposedly going up very, very slowly here. Grip also seems to be normal. So I think that's just because there is a 0 point, tiny amount of water. And that is affecting the grip. Apparently something happened to Sainz and Alonso. I was looking over here because suddenly there's a 3-second gap between them. They were running in the same DRS train last time I checked. That is not amazing. That's actually a little bit problematic. At this rate too, we're also going to jump some cars once we actually do pit for a new set of tires. But yeah, there's nothing much we can do here right now. For Sainz, it's just management again. We'll wait until we have gone through these DRS zones, and if we need to, we'll just use a little bit of energy to break away from Show. I think Show is getting us here. He is, and we went to the sand dimension. Why you should have rejoined immediately. Sainz lost 3 positions and 7 seconds. That's very unfortunate. Perez also picked up some mechanical issues, and he's actually pitted again for a medium. So I think it's very likely then that the rain is going to come lap 35 to 40-ish. So we do need to deal with that as we go here. Yeah, for Sainz, this is not actually great. I think actually what we do here is we just put Sainz on the hard, because it seems the full attack hard is working pretty good right now. So I'm just going to go full attack here. We're going to push as much as we can before we pit. Build some of that confidence back up after getting triple overtaken. Yeah. And if we're lucky here, we might even set fastest lap before the rain arrives properly in 4 minutes.
Okay, expecting some light rain.
I'm hoping we can pull off just that. Get that fastest lap up and running. That would be good for long term. But on the flip side, we have Danny Rick in front of us. He is going to be slower. Are we going to send it here? No, we're not. Not fast lap, unfortunately, but at least peak confidence again. And I think what we're going to do here is probably one more lap for Alonso. I think we just want to pit him. Like, let's take a quick look at it and see where Alonso's going to come out. So time considerations, 22 seconds on a pit stop, 37 seconds. We are going to be fighting Gasly whenever we do pit. So I think we pit now. It's still going to take a while for the water to build. Like, it should take an insanely long time here for the water to build. Track details, dry, dry, dry. It's expected to be dry still in 11 minutes. So let's have him go to the medium here. He should be able to regain that time. And for science here, we're going to do, as I mentioned, just a full attack hard on the wet surface. Light soft here isn't going to work simply because of the fact that the track is going to be a lot colder because it's raining. So we'll have science do one more lap before we pit him. And Alonso here should actually come out then ahead of Gasly. That's going to be the big one. And then we can work our way back up into the points positions again. So 15 seconds up to Show and Perez. I think that should be doable. Again, we have a huge tire advantage over every single one of the hard runners. Should be a good couple of seconds quicker. And for Sainz here now, I have ordered him to pit, so we're kind of sorted. Like a long lap or joker lap, the ritual being pushed wide at Austria that everyone must serve. I would love to not serve it anymore. I think I've served that penalty more than enough times. Okay.
Light rain behind me in the pit lane.
Now the question is going to be, how quickly is this going to go up? We just got light rain. We have a decent gap here with both cars. So let's just speed this up. We know Sainz just exited the pits when he said light rain. And it gave us 0.05 per lap. It's going to take 20 laps to get to the inters if it keeps this up. That's going to be kind of wild. It's still very similar. It's 0.05 to 0.06 a lap here. And that is not a huge amount of water on the track. But I think that is actually enough here that I want to go full attack on Alonso. We're going to gamble. As we've had another crash. Is it RB on RB violence or is Show involved?
Stay well away from
Show is involved. So we're having a lot of smaller accidents. That's gonna... Oh, Paris is struggling again. This strategy might backfire horrendously. I'm not gonna say. I'm gonna admit that right away. We'll have to see. How are we doing such lap times? 108. Paris is doing 108s. Getting 3 seconds on Danny Rick, Tsunoda. Well, they had, you know, there was an incident involving these three basically. We're not super quick compared to the rest of the field here, and that's a bit of an issue. Which race scenario is my favorite? All 3 games and Deluxe Edition bonus including. Funnily enough, probably Alonso in Monaco. That's the one that popped to mind first anyways. There is probably a, you know, more interesting one that I've forgotten about. I'm not gonna lie. That one is the first one that came to mind. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. We might do something similar like I did last year, where we go through some of the race scenarios as a warm-up for the next season. When we get closer to season start. Okay, we're still at 46 here. It's basically going to be another 9 laps before we go inters. I actually don't know if Alonso's tires are going to survive that long. But we're up into 8th place here. And I think we should be able to break free from Hamilton. Maybe not. Maybe I need to give a little bit of deploy here, because I don't want to pull Hamilton with me As we get close to the pit stops, I want to create a bit of a gap here if possible. Also need to have signs clear these guys as quickly as possible. For the exact same reason, really. There we go. Viva has Vegas. Hulkenberg podium. That would be... that one is also good. You're not wrong. Yo, good luck with the stream. Appreciate that. Thank you, Cloud. I assume you are checking out them. Maybe have a good evening, morning, afternoon, depending on where you're from. Thank you for stopping by. Or just thank you for good luck with the stream. I'll take it. Happily. Honestly, at this point, can we jump Stroll? Stroll is being an absolute menace right now to both the Red Bulls. Science it, I need to deploy, I need to create a gap to Hamilton. We all know the drill. We aren't super far back. Norris is pitting. Is he going on the Inters already? He has to be. He is. Same with Russell. To be fair, they probably have... Yeah, they've absolutely destroyed their tires. They're kind of forced to go in the Inters right now. We're going to go a little bit longer. Just a tiny, tiny bit longer. Nice overtake from Alonso. We are going to do one more lap here. Sainz is keeping up with Norris at the moment. The gap here should also be wide enough. I think that we will be safe. It's too late to call Alonso in, and it's kind of a lap too early to call Sainz in. So we are gonna gamble as Alonso takes the lead very, very temporarily. But yeah, I think this is... Like, we're getting close to the point where we should call him in. And I also have a different question for myself here. Degradation is going to be high on these Inters because it's not going to be a lot of water on the track. Is it better to do 2 stints? No. But we're probably going to have to run aggressive. Or even standard to keep those Inters alive. I think this is though, however, the time to jump into the pits. Piastri is keeping up with us. To be fair, those are fresh Inters, yes. But it is definitely time to jump in. Maybe a lap too late. I think we'll be okay. Question, does high aggression actually make drivers crash happy? Yes, because they are more aggressive in their moves, they take more risks, so they do have a higher chance of just bowling into someone else, unfortunately. We are exiting pits in 7th and 9th position. I'll take that. That is not a bad place to be, and the question now is going to be, do we take care of these tires? Or do we go full send? I think we just stick it to aggressive for now. And we are going to try and get some overtaking done. But we are going to be severely limited in how we get these overtakes completed, unfortunately. Finally entered damp territory. Took us a while. Stroll is way better than F1 match than in real life. Yeah, Stroll will pick up some inset. Perez is out. Unless that's his ERS. It is his ERS, so he's fine. That is going to make him a bit of a sitting duck, though, so Sainz should be able to easily pass him. Like, he can actually continue the race here, no problem. But he just won't have any energy to fight with, so... Makes him really, really easy to overtake. We're going to go ahead and harvest a little bit on Alonso. I think that's okay before we try and catch up here to Verstappen. We also have Hulkenberg being a little bit in the way. And Perez has not given up, even with his ERS having done exactly that. Forest, that's that's unfortunate. Now McLaren is still dominating here, so I think we might consider snatching some McLaren staff just to cause some misfortune there. Because I've never seen this dominant of a McLaren in the first season. They're just straight up taking over for Red Bull. What team do I support? I want to see this season. This season I'm going to be a Hamilton and Ferrari fan. That's what I've decided. The last season I was hoping that McLaren could give Red Bull a good fight, and I wanted to see Piastri do well. And the season before I kind of wanted Alonso to pick up a win in the Aston, so I flip-flop a lot, if that makes sense. I just want to go for what is more interesting to have fun with. More fun to support, if you will. Okay, we're closing down on Stroll at least. We're going to try and get by him. How long do you think this will take to win both championships? Probably next season, honestly. I think McLaren is going to be a little bit too strong this season unless we have a, we get some really, really good results after summer break, or they just crumble. But McLaren have been quite dominant so far this season, and they're making it kind of difficult to beat them. But worst case scenario, the 2026 season, I think I can do it next season maybe if we focus on research. Also, if we're really, really lucky here, the Driver Championship might be within grasp. So there's still some things we can do this season, but that remains to be seen. A lot of what ifs. Basically, if McLaren keep this up, we won Tuesday in every race, then yeah, we're not going to beat them. But if they have a couple of bad races, then yeah, we might be able to cause a little bit of mayhem. I do root for Antonelli too. I'm going to have to be honest. I do want to see Antonelli do well. I kind of want to see all the rookies do well, but Antonelli has been insanely hyped, so we'll have to see if he lives up to the hype that has been given to him. Piastri will slam Norris. They haven't crashed yet, so you might not be wrong there. We might see a teammate crash, teammate fatality, if you will. But yeah, for now, not really much we can do here. We are just chilling and allowing the race to kind of run its course. Basically running very similar times to most cars ahead. Sainz, though, is catching up to Stroll. We'll go a little bit of re-challenge here so that when we catch him, we can easily overtake. Do this for a lap or two and we should be prepped. Like that. Now we just need to get to the back of him.
Yeah, copy.
I mean, he will slam him this season as in beat him. Honestly, that would be kind of interesting. It would be interesting to see Piastri dominate that, like, not well, dominate per se. It would be interesting to see Piastri do that well, but I would really be curious to see how Norris is actually going to react if... Oh, goodbye, Stroll. You have been strolled. Stroll was given the Stroll treatment. That is kind of bad, kind of insane. But yeah, I'm kind of... If Piastri ends up being, the numero uno driver for McLaren by pure performance, I'm wondering how Norris is going to handle that. That is something I'm really, really curious about. Doohan will take on the sergeant role. I think Doohan has already too much pressure before the season already has begun. Like, his manager has already chosen his favorite son, and it isn't him. And they've already lined up the replacement. They're just waiting for him to make a mistake. Like, can you imagine the pressure you have to be under if you're a rookie? And before your first, proper race, the manager has already decided who he's going to replace you with. That's kind of a tough place to be for any driver, let alone a rookie. So Doohan is going to have a really, really rough season, no matter how things go. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay. We are struggling at the moment. Best we can hope for is 4th, but that requires us to catch both Verstappen and... I think it's too early. Need to wait 5 more laps. That requires us to both catch Verstappen and Russell. Russell could also take out Verstappen. That will work out just in our favor as well. But yeah, we're going to have to just wait a little bit longer before we go full attack here, because 15 laps ago, we have been on these tires for, well, basically 20 laps. And we've used 30% of them. We got 40% left. Full attack is probably not going to be something they survive till the end. Yeah, like, Doohan has to be, for Doohan to do well here, he has to be one of the toughest rookies mentally to pull that off. Yellow flag, virtual safety car. I thought Leclerc was in the mud there for a second. Like, if you change the camera angle and this is what you get, like, I would think Leclerc was just stuck in the trees here. He was actually crashed then.
Now the Ferrari's involved in
It's Hauge, okay, that makes more sense. Franco's only on loan to Alpine? Yeah. Oh. That's not a good crash. That's a pretty bad one. That's a yikes moment. We're gonna put in a little bit extra effort harvesting this time because we're gonna need the energy on the restart. Track is dry. Okay. Yeah, that is not where I wanted to go.
Yeah, completely dry.
I'm clicking every wrong button right now. Yeah, it's gonna still be borderline till the end, so we'll just keep it as is. We are gonna try and push. We kind of don't have any other option but to try and push to catch Verstappen, and we should be safe to stroll behind anyways. For now, not much we can do, but sit and watch. Okay, the virtual safety car is ending. We'll put both to neutral for the time being. And we'll have to see if we can close down those 5.5 seconds that we have to Verstappen, and then another 2 up to Russell. I love that the timing sheet is just doing acrobatics because it doesn't know how far behind we are on the restart. It's always beautiful. Can you do a 3-stop challenge off this one, or do you have other ideas? I don't actually have anything other planned after this, so I'll think about it. I'll chuck it in the idea list, or rather the idea bucket on Discord, and I might revisit that. Like try something like do 3-4 pit stops with each race and see how that goes. Who do I think the Cadillac lineup will be? Honestly, I have no clue. I have absolutely no clue. Could be anyone at this rate. Funny to see DNS just before the end. Yeah, it's pretty classic, honestly. 100% time preservation challenge. Like, 1 stop every race challenge, that sort of thing. Just give myself 100 time preservation, a couple of 100 smoothness drivers, and see if I can make that work. I think it's doable. But it's gonna make things a little bit weird, honestly. Rick and Bottas? That would be a good lineup, but I think Bottas is already... Oh, Charles. That kills people, Charles.
BSC deployed. Dash post.
I need the Charles clip from Baku right now. I have no idea what he's done, but his ERS is toast, judging by the sparks. Get Paris in there. To be fair, Paris would be good, like, for the first couple of seasons, just as a sponsorship booster. So that wouldn't be too surprising. But I'm pretty sure Bottas is already signed with Mercedes, like as a reserve driver, so I don't know how that one's going to work out.
Heading into turn 1.
It's Binala.
That's the moment the car plows into the wall. And
Yeah,
that
those
won't
two
give their
hits
confidence-
definitely destroyed a lot of it. Another virtual safety car, I think this kind of puts us out of any sort of contention. 5th and 6th is still very much acceptable. But we need the Leclerc to get in there and beat the McLarens here. He has failed us. He has failed us tremendously.
Ending now.
How many laps remaining? Probably not many. 4 laps. We need to gain a second a lap if we want to be competitive here. I don't really see that happening. No spaghetti for Leclerc. Cadillac and Andretti went from Herta and experienced driver. No, the talks are a bit all over the place. Yeah, that's not surprising, honestly. Honestly, it would not surprise me if, say, Cadillac did 2 very experienced drivers to just help them, you know, get a decent car going. Particularly going into a new regulation period. I can see that happening. And honestly, Perez has experience. And it's not really a bad choice financially either. His performance is questionable, let's be fair. But anyone that drives by Verstappen with the mentality that I'm going to be a world champion and then gets destroyed year after year is going to lose the mentals a bit. So, what is Hulkenberg doing? Well, Hulkenberg is doing his own thing. Also known as, I have a hole in my rear wing and it's not even properly attached. So Hulkenberg picked up damage very, very early in the race. And instead of retiring, he's just limping around like this. So that's what's going on with Hulkenberg. Not really much to do with that. Yeah, Perez has been absolutely destroyed mentality-wise. He would actually have... he would be a tier lower than the lowest tier in F1 manager for his mentality. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Cadillac can do. But it depends on if they want to, you know, take a risk or if they want to play it safe, I think. With the driver lineup. Let's see if Alonso can get Russell by the end of this. I believe Russell has very similar tires to us. It's going to be the final lap. We don't really have energy, but we've caught up to him. I don't think we have enough in the tank here to catch him, unfortunately. But we can try. Just use everything we have, and it's unfortunately not enough. If we had 100% ERS or, you know, another lap, maybe. But as you can see here, just can't make this work. It's a shame. Gasly did end up winning, though, which is better than Norris winning, because Norris is currently leading the championship.
Okay, that's the checkered flag.
But yeah, 5th and 6th. That's a lot better than we expected. Remember, according to the pre-race expectations, Alonso was supposed to finish last based on his car. So, yeah, we'll take this. Shame that we couldn't snatch 5th, but all in all, it's an okay result. Still, though, Norris just continues charging up ahead there. 25 points this weekend. And McLaren scored 58 this... Yeah. McLaren is putting Red Bull to shame. And I don't know how to stop it at this point. Do I think Audi are going to be a midfielder or back market team? Honestly, it's hard to say. It depends on how aggressively they change the structures, really. Like, if they continue as they are, probably going to be mid to back market, somewhere in the middle of them. But it's kind of hard to say. Teams change a lot when new ownership comes in. Except for, you know, Haas. Haas just survives. So it's kind of weird. I think season scenarios would be great, like Calyx first season or Merc, 16 controlled detention. Yeah, I would love to have like historical seasons as scenarios. I think that would have been a better use than just have race day scenarios that they added, to be fair. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to end the stream here. I need to go to bed. I am starting early tomorrow, so I need to finish up a couple of things, head to bed, and hopefully I'll be streaming again next weekend. I'll be kind of showcasing, going over a new game tomorrow, Astronomics, because I feel like the developers of that game deserve a shout out. It's basically an asteroid mining game that I find a little bit addicting and interesting. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that. Hope you all have a good morning, day, evening, depending on where you are. And I shall see you next time. Thank you very much for the membership, Furkan, and to everyone else, thank you very much for watching. And I shall see you next time. Bye-bye.